Yo, man, check this out.
Check out my melody.
You think you're special? You do.
Sup. Sup. Sup, y'all. Sup. Good Wednesday morning, upstate South Carolina. Welcome to the Rob Brown Show. Is under radio. This is the Fan Upstate. Howdy, y'all. How's everybody? Y'all doing all right? Living your best life as we turn the corner midweek. Just about to kick off the back nine. Second half almost underway. Y'all doing good? Good. Great. Good to have you with us here on the show. I am Rob Brown. On the other side of the metaphorical glass and the literal board, he is the Sultan of Swag, the Professor of Perfection, the Wizard of Wave, Colonel Grudge, the Alpha and the Omega of the Fan Upstate. Hashtag Dad Kicks. The great one Lonzo is here as well. What up, Zoe?
How y'all doing?
Just great. Thanks for asking.
How's y'all's family? They doing all right?
How's your mom and them?
Yeah. All them.
All them. We got a lot to get to today. MLB's All-Star game was last night.
Apologies to the people on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter because I have to keep moving my camera because Diesel keeps touching my stuff.
Isn't it y'all's stuff?
No, here's the thing. Since we did it first, everything they do, they're like renting our stuff and they're like touching our stuff and moving our stuff around. It's like, you know, when your brother's in your room and it's like, why were you in there touching my stuff?
Stop touching my stuff.
Yeah, I'm telling mom.
It's my stuff. We got a lot to get
Stinking side view. We know your beard is awesome.
Diesel does love a side beard profile.
He does. And I get it. If I could do that, I probably would do the same. But you know what? Maybe you should install Beard Cam.
Beard Cam.
If you ask engineering, I'm sure that they would be more than willing to install Beard Cam.
So for those of you that don't know, on the 25th, 26th, and 27th, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 2 weeks from now, we will once again be live at ACC Media Days up in Charlotte, North Carolina, where we will be broadcasting live. I will be there all 3 days, coming to you live from the hotel and gallery where this event will take place in Charlotte. Mark will be there on Clemson's Media Day, which I believe is Thursday.
Hey, Rob.
Hi, Alonzo.
Hey, Rob.
Hello.
You think ACC Karen's going to be there this year? You think she's going? Would you recognize her when she walks up?
100%.
Because she's going to walk up.
100%. Now,
ACC Karen gets you 3 days.
Here's going to be the interesting thing, right? So this is how it works. For those of you that don't, let me clue you in on the backstory real quick before we get there. For those of you that don't know the legend of ACC Karen, last year, the ACC network, so we've gone to the ACC Media Days the last 2 years in a row. 2 years ago when we were up there, it was because they COVID the first year.
Okay. Well, I know we were there, like Mark and I were there a few years ago.
Right.
So,
before I was here. Then the first year, we got to remember, the first year I got here was the COVID year.
See, I was thinking collective as a station, but you were
right.
just talking about you.
Correct. As is the norm.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right. All right. I don't know what I was thinking.
I don't either. So the last 2 years, I have attended ACC Media Days and done shows live. Now, in the past, it's been 2 days. This year, they've expanded it to 3 days. So the first year I was there.
Hey, Rob, real quick. I know I keep doing this, but can you like take the football and like hand it to Cade and have him hand it back to you during an interview? Could you do that?
If you don't think I'd be willing to bring a football and on the air be like, can you show me the perfect execution of a running back handoff.
I dare you.
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. So we've gone the last couple of years. The first year that I was there, 2021, when I was there, we were 5 rows back from where the ACC network. So they have a big ballroom where it's actually the lobby to the big ballroom, but it's a big room in itself where they put all of Radio Row. And there's probably 50 different tables with radio stations set up there. And
it's a lot tighter than people probably think,
is.
as far as it's not spaced out
right.
like what you would picture.
The table that you are on, there are other radio stations at tables that are 2 feet away from you on either sides, and the walkways between are about 3.5 feet wide. You're close to other stations, but at the same time, this is radio. We all understand there's going to be other loud jackasses in there besides just us. You're just used to it. TV people, they different, right? They different. So 2 years ago when we were there, we were 5-6 rows back from where the ACC network does their normal studio coverage, but they do go live from the ACC Media Days, obviously. And so Mark and I were a ways back from them over the 2-day event, and there just wasn't a lot that we did to Impact TV. Last year they had Mark and I 2 tables, two rows away. So we were all of 15 feet from the chairs that Mark Richt and the rest of the ACC Media Days crew, the rest of the ACC Network crew, EJ Manuel, were doing their constant coverage, right? And I don't know, maybe 30, 35 minutes into the show, I brought back the show like I brought back the show. The show has always been meant to be audio Red Bull, high energy, high tempo. Let's go. Let's get some fun in here. Yeah? So I open the show. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, the Rob Brown Show live on your radio. This is the fit. And I caught a glimpse of one of the 2 talent members that were on cam at that time, give the old glance back over the shoulder. And if you go back and you watch last year's ACC Media Day coverage, you will see me on camera, right over the shoulder. I wave. Mark and I both wave at the camera multiple times throughout the day, right? So I do that, and a lady walks over to me when I get off the air. I take off the headset, and she walks over, and she's like, "Hey, I know you're doing a show, but I need you to bring the volume down. You are louder on the host mics than the host. You're interrupting the show. I need you to be quieter." To which I'm like, is your show more important than mine? I mean, yes, obviously it is. But is your show more important than mine, Karen? And thus, the legend of ACC Karen was born, because I was catching dirty look after dirty look. Lonzo was here. You'll remember that the next 2 segments, I was like, "Hey, guys, welcome in. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate. So glad to have you guys here on the show. We're live at ACC Media Days in Charlotte, North Carolina."
And I think I encouraged you to not let Karen.
You absolutely did.
I mean, we shouldn't let another outlet neuter what we do. No, I mean, so this year you need to be loud and proud. And if they got a problem with it, they can move their set.
No, they can't.
Well, yeah, they can. They absolutely can.
It's a whole TV studio. So, yeah, Lonzo's like, "Dude, stop." I'm like, "Dude, she's still looking at me. She's right there." Lonzo's like, "Stop. You have to do your show. You have to do your show the way." So I brought it back up. I tried to find the happy little medium. And ACC Karen a second time walked over, and she's like, "Hey, you have to bring the volume down, or she didn't say, "I'm going to talk to a manager," but she pretty much did, right? She's like, "If you don't, I am going to have your what do you call it? Your little workstation moved back, moved away, moved out of here. We're going to have to move on. Like, we're going to have to get you out of this area." And again, there's nowhere else to go. If I got to broadcast anywhere else, I'm doing it from my hotel room, right?
Well, here's the thing. This year, I think you might have a promotions person. And if you do, here's what you need to do. You need to instruct the promotions person, because you can do this, because I've had to do this before, to not let anyone near the table. So Karen cannot get close to you if the promotions person stops her and says, hey, it's our policy that no one can get near the table while a broadcast is going on. And even during the breaks, we're still doing a broadcast. So if you have a problem, please submit it in writing.
I am relatively sure that as ESPN and the ACC network bring in tens of millions of dollars to the conference, and Rob Brown does not do that they're probably going to have a little.
But you could, you absolutely could. I mean, do better than those guys.
Nah, probably not.
I think you could. I think you could, and you've had plenty of TV time. So I mean,
So the question mark is going to be on July 25th, 26th, and 27th, all 3 days. The Rob Brown Show will be live from ACC Media Days in Charlotte, North Carolina. The question is going to be, A, do I recognize ACC Karen? The answer is absolutely I will. Number 2 is, does ACC Karen recognize me? And C, does ACC Karen make a preemptive strike? Will she be tactically prepared to deal with my volume before we start? Now, I do think one possibility. So the room is big. On the far end of the room, away from where they do the studio show, the escalators from the downstairs lobby that come up to where all the ballrooms are, right? There's like 5 ballrooms up there. There's one massive ballroom, and that's where they do the State of the Union addresses, I call them, from the coaches. That's where the coaches go in.
You mean the Dabo room?
Call it whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it's the Dabo room.
The State of the Unions take place in a big damn ballroom, and then there's 4 other ones that they use for breakout rooms, right? So after Dabo gives State of the Union, they'll put Dabo in a room, and then they'll put Cade Klubnik in a room, and they'll put this guy in that room and this guy in that room, and they do breakout interviews for each team for like an hour, and you bounce room to room and ask your questions. So in this room, those are all on the north side. And then on the south side is effectively the connecting lobby to all those ballrooms, and that's Radio Row. It's a huge room, but over on the far side, on the south side, there's the hole in the ground where the escalator comes up, right? And then so the big part of Media Row is between where the escalator comes up and the far wall where the ACC television crew is set up at. And the majority of radio is there, but there are 2 rows of radio booths that are set up down the hallway adjacent to the escalator, right? And when you go, you will find out, you will see that the layout of Radio Row it's pretty obvious. There's a couple of factors that go in it. Size of the station is big. The stations in like Atlanta and Miami, those stations are towards the front because that's where the coaches and the players are hanging out between interviews, right? And then when you go to the next step down, that's where they start putting syndicated networks like us. That's where they start putting people who are carried on the bigger networks and have connections with the bigger networks. So radio stations affiliated with CBS Sports Radio and ESPN and all these other stations, they're kind of in the second tier between the elevator and the big radio stations before you get to the ACC television booth. And then the third tier is like small market, local, unaffiliated radio stations. And they get put in the back of that room and sideways by the escalators. If Rob Brown shows up, because I'll be leaving and driving up on Tuesday morning, right? I will leave my house around 5 a.m. on Tuesday. That puts me in Charlotte about 7. Time to get in there, register, set up all the gear, and get ready for the 9 o'clock show. I can go ahead and tell you that Tuesday show, the 25th, is going to be slow because I'm going to be tired. So if I get there and I sign in and I get my credentials and they go, there's your table. And it's over on the far side by the escalator. We're going to know that ACC Karen has more power than we expected.
Well, so you're talking about on the side next to the trophy and all that stuff. Well, the first year we went, Mark and I were over in that corner. So, I mean, the very last one, because that's when I was trying to get Mark to go swipe an orange. I have an idea. I don't know if you'll do it or not, but I have an idea. It's all radio people are the same. So if you befriend some of the people, on either side of you or next to you and have a contest about seeing who could get the loudest, then she's going to have to pick who she talks to. Radio people are boisterous, but what radio people really like more than anything is winning and contests. So if you make it a contest about who can be the loudest between you and like 3 or 4 other radio stations, what's she going to do?
Well, again, I don't know. You don't want to power ACC Karen has.
Could she get rid of 5 radio stations?
Again, the ACC network is putting 10 plus mil. I don't know what the actual number is.
ACC Karen seems like a person who's on the move. She's probably no longer in that position. She might have moved up.
Well, she might have. We'll find out. I'll know as soon as I walk in that room at 6:30 in the morning on Tuesday, the 25th. I'm walking straight to that side to see if ACC Karen's in the house. Because if she is, those 3 days are going to be real interesting. But they've moved on to a new producer. Then I'm going to get introduced to ACC Kyle or ACC Karen Volume 2.0. We're going to find out. Point of all of that is, ladies and gentlemen,
is that the SEC doesn't have one like that.
It's
only the ACC.
You don't know.
That way.
You don't know. You ain't been to SEC media.
You're right. You're right. I haven't.
You don't know.
I haven't. They're in a bigger room now.
They're in a much bigger room and a much bigger market.
They are. I'm sorry, I'm not going with you. Not really. But if I was, I would let the hair down and glare, and that would take care of it.
I don't think so.
That mean old man looks unsettling. I might want to stay away from him.
I appreciate your confidence in that you think your imposition on people is going to take away from somebody who's making probably twice what you and I make combined, and her job is volume control. But you're not going to scare me if I got 6 figures on the paycheck and my job is that guy's got to be quiet. I promise.
I will if I stand up.
No, you won't.
Yes, I will.
No, you won't.
Yes,
Lonzo, if you paid me $100,000 and my job was to control you, you're not intimidating me.
First of all, Lonzo don't get controlled by anyone. Lonzo is the control. Mm-hmm. Lonzo will stand up and glare at ACC Karen, and she will cry and go back over where she's supposed to go.
Until Hendricks gets that email that says, "Dear Mr. Hendricks, due to the behavior of your staff at ACC Media Days, all future credentials to all ACC events have been revoked because your producer stood up and threw his hair back over his head and rolled his eyes up into his sockets, trying to intimidate ACC Karen, and we're not having that."
First of all, if Lonzo's there, Lonzo's not there as a producer. Lonzo's there as intimidation. That's what Lonzo is there. Lonzo is the bouncer. Lonzo is the buffer between the real star of the entire station, Rob Brown. I'm going to make sure that no one gets near Rob Brown because that would be my job.
Rob, how much to get you to wear a Gamecock hat on the ACC network? $0. And it's not because I don't think that's hilarious. I do, just like I think it'd be hilarious to wear a Clemson hat to SEC Media Days. The reason why is, much like I said, Lonzo's got to stand down. My job revolves around being able to go to these things. If I can't get myself in the door at these events, then you realize there's no point in me being on this mic, right?
By the way, all this is joking. We would never do such a thing. But Rob will be loud because that's what he is.
True. That part is true.
I've been other places with other radio shows and they're all talking like this and stuff. It's like, what's the point of doing an appearance? You want people to know that you're there. If they're not listening to the radio, I don't understand the quiet. I don't.
There is a dude there that I've kind of become friends with over the past couple of years who does a show in Louisville, Kentucky. And he invited me on a show last year, right? He's like, "Hey, do you want to come on for just a minute?" and talk Clemson. I'm like, yeah, sure, for sure. So I jump on the air with him, and he's like, this is Rob Brown from the Fan Upstate in Greenville, South Carolina. He covers Clemson Tiger football. Rob, welcome to the show. What's up, big dog? He's like, So that is the norm. I'm just curious to see if ACC Karen makes her appearance. Texter says, I'm with Lonzo. One of my favorite things to do is challenge someone who thinks they're more powerful than me. One of the tough realities of the world, ladies and gentlemen, is that some people are. You can think you're Billy Badass all you want. Some people are. And if Karen decides Rob Brown's not welcome there anymore and I get the boot, that's real bad for me.
See, here's the thing, Rob. It's more about diversion than it is being intimidating. You go talk to them, have a conversation with them, try to make them forget what they came over there for. I can do that. And I know some other people can do that just by hey, how you doing? What's your name? And hey, what do you do for TV? How does that work? As a producer, how do you do? I mean, I would just throw her off.
I will also tell you, killing them with kindness works. Texture says wrong. It would not be funny to wear a Clemson hat to SEC Media Days. It would only be funny if it was a Gamecock hat. There's a smack talk I'm here for. It's just even the littlest things. All right, we got to take.
Why don't you just wear a hat that says 31-30 on it? We can get one of those made.
I don't know. They're just my two favorite numbers.
Yeah.
All
well,
right. We got to take a break. When we come back, we do something that
I was trying to get the Van Halen hat 5150. All they had was 3130, so I went with that.
The other day, we talked about quarterback tiers, and we only talked about the first couple of quarterback tiers. Ladies and gentlemen, I have created our comprehensive tiers of quarterbacks across the NFL. All 32 I have placed into different tiers. All 32 projected starters I have placed into multiple tiers. I'm going to give you what they are. We're going to rank out our QBs. I'm going to say who you like, who you don't like, who you move up, down, and more. We'll do that next on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Yeah, really what it comes down to, Josh, is assessing the situation and seeing which would be more effective, the intimidation route or the killing them with kindness route. Or the, hey, I am sorry. I know he's loud. I'll take care of it, okay? You don't need to go talk to him. Let me do it, okay? That's my job. I'll go over there and I will quiet him down. And then I would go over and say, Rob, they're having trouble hearing you back in the studio. You need to get a little bit louder. In the end, being professional is what you're supposed to do. But the thing is, I think she was being unprofessional by coming over and doing that. That bothers me when people think that they have power over you because they're supposedly in a bigger whatever.
For the record, some people do have power over you. I would love to live in this ideal world that you guys live in where you're just always the most powerful person in your universe, but you're not. No one is. If Karen wants me gone, Karen can get me gone.
I seriously doubt that. That's a bad look on the ACC, the media day as a whole, if they get rid of someone for being loud. If you're doing your job and they get, because a stink could be made of it, and solidarity from all the radio people, because they would stand behind you. That's what we do against the TV people. Because there are more radio people there than there are TV people.
Yes, but none of us are in a position where our network is paying the ACC millions of dollars.
We would all, they would all stand in the alliance,
Lonzo, if Mark
and they
Hendricks
would.
I both came to you and said, if I came to you and said, I want this on the show, and Hendricks came to you and said, absolutely not, who are you listening to? Even if you really like the idea, who are you listening to?
What day is it?
It doesn't matter. If I say I have an idea that you like, and then Hendricks says no, who are you listening to?
But that's the thing.
No.
Who are
you listening to?
This question is,
Hendricks, you're wrong.
this is apples to oranges.
No, it's
because yes, the ACC they're not our bosses, and the TV network is definitely not our
They're the
bosses.
boss of the event.
No, they're not.
How are they not?
No, the ACC itself is not the
Right.
TV state.
And the
The show
network is how they get paid. Whoever hands the money to other people, they're the boss in every situation. If you are handing over money, you're the boss.
If the head of the ACC, I don't know, I think it's Dabo, comes over and tells you, hey, you need to quiet down, that's different. But if it's someone on another show doing it, then that's a problem. Turn their headphones up or their earpieces or whatever. Put up a buffer. I don't know. Construct a wall. Go get a drum riser and put, or what's that drum? That's not the riser. What's the thing you put around drums to quiet it?
The shield.
The shield. Yeah, go get one of those, or multiple, some of those. Admittedly, I'm defensive of radio, and I'm always going to be defensive of radio. And the TV people, the haughty TV people, think that they're better than us. We're just as pretty as they are. And I've seen TV people come to radio. They don't do so well because they can't talk for long periods of time without a teleprompter in front of their face, and they need to just back off. That's what. Yeah.
Told them.
Oh, they're listening. Where do you think they get their ideas from? Radio. But here's what's going to happen. When Rob gets there, he's going to go find her and ask her how she's doing. And he's going to.
Hello, ma'am. It's wonderful to see you again. I hope all is well.
Hey, girl, how you doing? How have you not been promoted yet?
You should be on the air. You're so beautiful.
All right, let's not get creepy. I don't know. She might not have been. You were there, I wasn't.
So the other day we were having a conversation about quarterbacks in the National Football League.
Yeah.
And we started talking about quarterback tiers, quarterback rankings. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have put together this year's comprehensive rankings via tier system of all 32 projected starting quarterbacks in the National Football League. Now, ordinarily with these, you would start at the bottom and you would go up. But that's relatively anticlimactic here because I think we all know what the top of the list looks like, right? So let's start with tier number one. Tier number one, I simply call the best. There's only one name that can go there right now. It's Patrick Mahomes. Now, there's some other guys that are very close, which is why the next tier goes from the best to the next. But in tier one, in the top tier, in the A+ category, there is Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes has won some Super Bowls. Patrick Mahomes continues to have people gravitate to his football team because he's that good. Lonzo pointed out devastatingly yesterday that Kansas City is looking at ways to potentially, not definitively, but potentially clear up some money in the salary cap department so that they could add DeAndre Hopkins. And I would think based on the teams that are looking at DeAndre, if he had the choice to go there or, any of the other ones, yeah, that's where he's definitely going to end up at. We'll see. But Patrick Mahomes is the reason because tier one is the best and the name Mahomes is alone in top tier. Then we go to tier two. Tier number two is the next. This is the next group of guys that could elevate into tier one. This is the next group of guys that could jump up either alongside Patrick Mahomes or replace Patrick Mahomes on the list of the best. I've got in the next group, Lonzo. As of today, this is based on heavily weighted performance from last year as well as career success. In the group of the next, which comes after the best, I've got Josh Allen. I've got Joey Ice, Joe Burrow, and I've got Aaron Rodgers. You can't argue with our Aaron Rodgers' success. Aaron Rodgers, 2 years ago, was the NFC MVP. And he was doing so with whom as a supporting cast? A lot of people are looking at Green Bay's failure last year and want to blame it on A-Rod. But again, I would point out, look at the rest of that roster and tell me that anybody else could have done any more than Aaron Rodgers did. So I think he deserves to be in the category of the next, which is the next group of QBs that could be elevating. And keep in mind, it does include career success, but this is based on where I think you are next year. So I got Patrick Mahomes in tier 1, the best. In the tier 2, which I'm calling the next, I've got Josh Allen, Joey B, and Aaron Rodgers. Any of those names in the wrong spot so far, Lonzo?
The only thing that I heard that was wrong is it's just Josh.
Josh Allen. So I think Josh Allen is not a guy that's where he is based on hype alone. I think Josh Allen has performed. I think the biggest problem for Josh Allen is he keeps coming up against Patrick Mahomes, right? If Patrick Mahomes wasn't a thing, Josh Allen would likely be at the top of that list right this very second. But I got Josh Allen in tier number 2, the next, right behind Patrick Mahomes. And I got Joe Burrow there too. Joey B has a wonderful supporting cast. The problem with Joey B has been the Cincinnati Bengal defense has had a garbage back end. And it's allowed quarterbacks who should not be getting into shootouts with Joe Burrow to do that and to win them. And that's not good enough. Joey B's team's going to be a little bit better this year. I would not be shocked to see Joe Burrow toss his name into the hat alongside Josh Allen, Patty Mahomes to be the AFC's best quarterback. But we'll find out. Skrilla just said, what about Jalen Hurts? Well, ladies and gentlemen, that brings me to tier 3. And I call this tier the oh so close tier. This is the group of guys that are very, very close to getting into the discussion amongst top tier quarterbacks. I got Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, and Rodgers as my top 4. Those are my top tier and top 2 tiers, I should say, quarterbacks. The next group, the oh so close category. This is the category of guys that I think are exceptionally close to being in those tiers, and I think have superstardom in their DNA. I just want them to prove it. Now, you're going to freak out about one of them. There's 2 in this tier. One of them is Lamar Jackson. I think that one is relatively self-explanatory, yeah? Lamar Jackson, I think, might be the single most athletic quarterback in the National Football League. Lamar Jackson is maybe not as good of a runner as a guy like Jalen Hurts, but he is, I think, a better passer than a guy like Jalen Hurts. That's why he's in this tier along with Jalen Hurts. Now, that's the one you're going to freak about. And why wouldn't you? Jalen Hurts just played for a Super Bowl, right? Well, yeah, but there's a couple of things that I want to lean on. I would say number 1, Jalen Hurts is a good but not yet great passer of the football. Jalen Hurts is playing behind one of the most, under-acclaimed groups in the NFL, the Eagles offensive line, led by the other Kelsey, my favorite Kelsey, by the way.
Come on now. That's disrespect.
Oh, is that disrespect?
That is disrespect.
Throw it on the pile. I'm a big Jason guy. Anybody who shows up to the park in a fanny pack and gets in a beer guzzling contest, that's my kind of guy. Anyway, he also was carried by an outstanding Philadelphia defense last year. Jalen Hurts is very good. That's why he's in tier 3. That's why he's next to Lamar Jackson in that tier. I think one more run at it probably jumps him up into the next tier. Tier number 4, the next tier I put together, Lonzo, I am calling in the yard. They're in the yard. They're not necessarily up there with Lamar. They're not necessarily up there with Jalen. They maybe don't have the success to lean on, right? Guys like Jalen and Lamar. Jalen because he was in a Super Bowl last year. That bumped him up a tier. Lamar because I think he's the most overall actively, physically talented quarterback in the league. The next group of guys are guys that I absolutely think need to prove it on the field. Not that they won't get another chance. This group of guys, I think, is separated. Zoe, this group of guys is separated by they're not there, but if it doesn't go right with their current franchise, it's not like they're not getting another shot. Somebody else will bring this guy in if it doesn't work out where they are now. In the yard category, great one. I have future first ballot all Hall of Famer Derek Carr of the New Orleans Saints. Now, I make the jokes. I said that yesterday on the show when the text line blew up. Rob, you're an idiot. You're a homer. Guys, I don't think Derek Carr is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Wait. Just a joke.
Wait. You're a homer for your team?
The audacity.
How dare you do such a thing?
The audacity.
You're supposed to be unbiased in all things. There's no one on this radio station who is biased like you.
Derek Carr is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. I'm aware of that. It's just a dumb, funny thing to say on the radio.
By the way, his career is not over. It doesn't mean that he couldn't put himself in that position.
Sure.
He could.
Sure.
He could go down to New Orleans and win like 3 Super Bowls.
DB just asked a question. He said, so why should Jalen be punished for having a solid defense and a solid offensive line? I'm not saying he's punished. I'm just saying if I talk about Mahomes, I can directly say the Chiefs' success is because of Patrick Mahomes. If I look at the Bills, the Bengals, and the Packers over the years, and probably the Jets this year, I can say their success is directly tied to the quarterback. If you plugged another guy in there, they wouldn't be as good. I don't think it's ridiculous to say that if I took the Eagles and I plugged anybody in the tier we're working on now, the in the yard tier, that they wouldn't have been just as successful last year. Now, here's the rest of that tier. I got Derek Carr in that tier. That part's not a joke. I think Derek Carr got screwed by Vegas. I really do. Or Oakland, whatever you want to call him, for as long as he was there. I think he got screwed. I think Derek Carr is good. Don't think he's great. Do I think he's incredible? I don't know. We're going to find out. But I think if Derek Carr doesn't work out in New Orleans and he moves on from the Saints, somebody else is going to give him one more shot. Derek Carr is on that list. Lonzo, I got Justin Herbert in this group. I got Tua Tagovailoa in this group. Now, to his head. That's really this question, because Tua was playing exceptionally well. The Dolphins were front-running the AFC until
the
Tua got scrambled.
Most accurate quarterback in the entire NFL.
Thank you, Tyreek. Absolutely. Of course he is. Anybody who disagrees with that is wrong. Tua's on that group. If Tua comes out and he got his head right, and I mean that quite literally, Tua could elevate this year.
I'm just surprised that you don't have Herbert higher up, because he has probably been in the yard for his entire career now, right?
Yes. And I will say some of these guys have had their tier status impacted by the franchise they're playing for. Jalen Hurts in a positive way. I think if I stuck Jalen Hurts in Vegas right now, Jalen Hurts would be way down on this list. But because he just played for a Super Bowl with a well-constructed franchise with maybe the best GM in football on it, Jalen got bumped up to the oh-so-close category. I think Derek Carr is bumped down. I think Derek Carr has oh-so-close category potential, but because of the dumpster fire of a franchise he's been playing for, he's been dragged down by that a little bit. I think Justin Herbert's the same way. I like the Chargers. I think the Chargers need to improve their roster building because it's not gone great. I think Justin Herbert and Tua Tagovailoa both have the chance to jump up. I'll tell you who else is in the yard category. I think Trevor Lawrence is in this category. TL16 got out from under the cloud of toxicity that was Urban Meyer. Herb leaves, and wouldn't you look at that, TL16 last year leads the Jags to a division title, a wild card berth, and a wild card win down 27 against Justin Herbert. Trevor Lawrence escalated from the next tier down, which we're getting to in a minute, up till that one.
See, I'm still not completely sold there, because I think it's the coach and not necessarily the player.
It partially is with Doug Peterson. I'm not disagreeing. But
I
I think he did enough.
I think this year, his second year under, we'll find out about Trevor Lawrence.
I agree. And that's why I've got him in the yard and not oh so close. Also, alongside Trevor Lawrence, I've got Russell Wilson in this group right now. I think now, here's the thing. 4 years ago, Lonzo, Russell Wilson would have been in either the next or the oh so close category, probably closer to the top than the bottom. The last 2 years, his last year in Seattle, his first year in Denver, were hot garbage. But I can look at Denver and go, they were a horse boat coached program last year. Now he's got Sean Payton pulling the strings, an offensive mastermind in the National Football League. Russell Wilson could take a step up. That's why I think he's in the yard.
There is no guarantee that Russell Wilson plays the entire season.
None at all.
Because if he plays the way he did, especially the first half of the season last year, Sean Payton ain't going to leave him in there.
I don't disagree, but I also have to look at when you go, if he plays like last year, look at their team last year. Look at their coaching last year.
When it got to the point where
they
Russell
fired their coach halfway through the season in his first year.
What I was going to say in Seattle, Russell Wilson had it made because what a great defense he had. He had Marshawn Lynch. That will make you look better than what you are. Then he gets to Denver and you find out what he is. He's going to have better coaching for sure with Sean Payton. We'll see if better coaching brings him back to where a lot of people thought he was, or is he still going to be who I think he is and just mediocre?
Alongside Russell Wilson in this group, I've got Deshaun Watson. Big question mark. Deshaun was playing some of the best football we've seen in a long time down in Houston. He gets up to Cleveland and went real sideways. However, it got sideways on a bad Cleveland Browns team. Can he bounce back this year? We'll find out.
Yeah, don't give him any credit. I mean, that's all his fault, the entire situation. And he gets there.
It's his decision to be in Cleveland, but Cleveland's a crap franchise.
But I think he'll play better this year because he's a year back, because he was out of football for a long time and going through, deservedly so, all the stuff that he went through.
And that's why he's in the yard and not in our next tier, which I'll reveal to you when we come back from this break. When we come back, we round out the bottom half. The largest occupied tier comes up next on the show. Where's Bryce going to fall?
If you said Kirk Cousins yet, where's Kirk Cousins?
Oh, Kirk's coming up. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. You like that? On the Fan Upstate. You like that is still one of my favorite NFL moments.
We'll be right back.
Audit, have a wage or bank levy, or finally just want to know your options, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief and stop collections immediately.
You head to the restroom, take care of your business, and what do you got to deal with? Country playing. Why? There used to be a time when crossovers happened with country, but they didn't sound like a straight up country song. They sounded like something that was middle of the road that you could cross over. But when it was straight up, last night, okay, that is country. It needs to stay on country. I'm not angry like Rob at a flash mob, but I am, perturbed.
Baseball is in full swing. The free Odyssey app lets you listen to local coverage for the team you love. Live stream your favorite sports radio station or jump back and listen to the best segments on demand. Don't forget we talk to the manager every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Don't listen to some guy from the other side of the country tell you about your team. Live conversations for your
Did you see all the trailers that dropped yesterday?
I did see some of them. I saw the trailer for EA Sports is putting out FIFA, but they weren't able to reach a deal with FIFA, so they've changed the name of their game to FC 2023.
Okay.
EA Sports FC 2023, and I'm interested in how it's going to work. I mean, they can't use FIFA brand, but does that mean they can't do World Cup stuff? Because that takes a huge element out of the game.
The next Ahsoka thing dropped, which is really cool. Next Blue Beetle dropped, which is really cool. But the one that stood out to me was Willy Wonka. I was not expecting to like that. It's a prequel. So it's Willy Wonka as a younger with Timothy Chalamet, I believe. No, I'm not hangry. I'm just annoyed, by the way. And no, Trey, I don't know that country song because I don't know country songs. It's like 3 songs. They're all the same with just different people singing it. That's the truth, man. Cousins, that dude makes money all over the place. That's making the most of playing like one really good game and then being completely medium the rest of the time.
Which, by the way, if anybody's back on that GTA 5 flow right now, hit your boy up because I've gotten obsessed again.
I saw you were on there yesterday, but I kind of had a headache and I couldn't put the headset on.
I was running missions and trying to see if I could beat the 2 and 3 player missions by myself. I can't.
Oh, I thought we were going to hear about some success.
Nope.
Maybe you're just wearing the wrong outfit when you do it.
All right, so we're ranking quarterbacks in the NFL by tier. We'll do the same for the ACC, the SEC, the Big 10, Big 12, and Pac-12 as we move forward towards football season, which, by the way, Lonzo, we are inside of 47 days until college football kicks off this year. Yay! Here's the tiers we have arrived at so far based solely on me. You guys are welcome to include your thoughts by texting us at 71307. Start that text with FAN, F-A-N. Let me know who I've ranked too low and too high. The top tier is the best. Patrick Mahomes stands alone. The next is the second tier with Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts in it. The best is Patrick Mahomes. The next is Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Aaron Rodgers. Oh, so close is Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts. The in the yard category, I've got Derek Carr, Justin Herbert, Tua Tagovailoa, Trevor Lawrence, Russell Wilson, and Deshaun Watson. On the block, this is the next tier up. These are the guys that you look at them and you're like, could do it, but you're not throwing any money at them actually doing it, right? And here's that list. I've got in this tier, Lonzo, Dak Prescott of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm over it. Every year I hear about Dak Prescott and how Dak's the guy for Dallas, and it's just every year there's 50 excuses why Dak doesn't get it done. And don't get me wrong, I don't put it all on Dak. I think the Cowboys are a poorly run organization.
Dissing America's team. What are you doing?
It's not America's team. It's Dallas's team. It's right there in the damn name. Next to Dak Prescott, I've got a guy that I'm not going to lie. I very much considered moving up to the Indy Yard tier. I haven't decided that I'm not going to, but Geno Smith of the Seattle Seahawks. Geno had a comeback from behind year last year. He had a year that shocked people last year, and a lot of people think that he's ready to run it back. Geno Smith's a guy who's been in some weird spots throughout his career. It's like every time you think Geno's got his nod, he either gets hurt or they bring in a superstar to plug in front of him. If Geno Smith has another year this year like he did last year, and he's not catching everybody by surprise, Geno moves up. I put Jared Goff in this category. This is a Super Bowl winner, man. This guy's got a ring in LA before they traded him for Matt Stafford.
He's still in the league. Jared Goff still plays football.
Jared Goff still does for the Detroit Lions. And oh, by the way, the Lions might be good this year. The Lions might be good this year. And if they are, it's going to be in part because of a guy that everybody gave up on Jared Goff. But the fact that everybody gave up on him is part of the reason I've got him on the block and not in the yard. I got Matt Stafford here. I would like to put Matt Stafford higher. I would like to move Matt Stafford up. I think Matt Stafford is one of the most disrespected quarterbacks. Mark Ryan and I butted head for years over Matt Stafford, with me going, dude, he was in Detroit. We didn't do numbers. He was in Detroit, and this is before the current volume of Detroit. Somebody blew my mind yesterday on Twitter. You know how many Detroit Lions playoff games JFK has missed since he died? One. He's missed one playoff game of the Detroit Lions since he died. That's how bad this organization has been. It wasn't on Stafford. And when Stafford got out, he proved that. But
why did they pick JFK for that? I mean,
because I think if you go further back, the number increases to 2, and 1 sounds better with an old name.
Okay.
That's my thought.
All right.
Now, Stafford got bumped because we found out a couple of days ago that Sean McVay and the LA Rams apparently put Stafford up on the block. Didn't just put Stafford on the block, trotted him out to find a trade. Nobody wanted him. I think that's because he's on this tier. Daniel Jones is on this tier. DJ has shown us some stuff here and there, but it's been wildly inconsistent. Now, how much of that is on the Giants? We're going to find out because the G-Man seemed to be improving. I got Kyler Murray in this tier. Same reason. Kyler Murray has showed us some flashes of greatness. He's also shown us that his head's not all the way screwed on sometimes. Kyler Murray's in this group. I got Kirk Cousins in this group. Kirk can come out in non-primetime games and look like a freaking all-star, and then you put him on Monday Night Football, and he just absolutely collapses. His inability to perform in the spotlight has him in this tier.
You know, the flim-flam man, the grifter, the guy that you watch in movies and go, how'd he get away with that? That's Kirk Cousins.
I got Jimmy Garoppolo in this tier. Garoppolo has won every time he's gotten the chance. He's also been replaced multiple times, sometimes due to injuries, sometimes because of coaching decisions. I think Jimmy Garoppolo could move up a tier. The problem, he's a Raider, and the Raiders are bad. I got Mac Jones on this tier. I think Jones could threaten to move up a tier too. The problem is, again, New England. They thought Mac Jones was just going to step in and be Tom Brady volume 2.0. He has, and this may shock you, not done that. He has not done that. And that is part of the reason Bill Belichick is on the hot seat. It is also part of the reason I got Mac Jones in the on the block tier and not in the yard. I got Brock Purdy on this tier. What Brock Purdy did last year was incredible. It was an incredible run for Mr. Irrelevant. But let's also point out that this is Brock Purdy, who played under Kyle Shanahan, arguably the best offensive mind in the game right now, on a wildly talented San Francisco team with a lot of great defense. I don't know that I can put it all on Brock Purdy. We're going to find out this year. And alongside Brock Purdy, I've got Kenny Pickett. I just don't know. Under them, I've got the last chance for you tier. Baker Mayfield, Desmond Ridder. I'd like to think I can move Baker up at the end of this year because he's got the best wide receiver core he's ever played with. The problem is, they've got a brand new OC and a defensive coordinator as their head coach.
By the way, a caller is saying that you said Jared Goff won a Super Bowl and he did not.
Oh, that's right. Who did I back it up? It was Stafford.
It was Stafford. It was Stafford that won it. He just got it. Rob just misspoke.
Yeah, it was Stafford. That was my butting heads because Mark and I got into it after that. Last chance for you, Baker and Desmond Ritter. And then the last one, Rook to A1. There's your rookies. There's Bryce Young. There's C.J. Stroud. There's Anthony Richardson. There's Sam Howell. All right, who do I have too high, too low? You tell me. We'll take a look at that and your thoughts when we come back on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Kirk Cousins is Sam Bradford collecting a bunch of money for doing the least, consistently so. But when he's on, he's on, right? You can't argue with that. When he's on, he's on. Rob, did you eat breakfast? No, I never eat breakfast. I'm not a breakfast guy. Never have been. Lonzo, do you like the song Fishing in the Dark? That's country and it's cool. That's a banger of a song.
I don't think there's anything as country and cool.
Lying on our backs and counting the
Hey, man,
stars.
if you're going to sing a country song, put some twang into it. Where's your twang?
There's no twang in that song.
I
Country is
bet
the
there
default
is.
twang.
I guarantee you there's twang in that song.
Steven, what's up? Welcome in, big dog. Willy Wonka prequel. Could be. I don't know, man. I saw it and I was like,
No, watch the entire trailer.
I did. Old, who was it? McConaughey is an Oompa Loompa?
That's not McConaughey.
Who was it? Bradley Cooper? I don't know.
No,
It was
it's
one of the
not
handsome
Bradley
guys.
Cooper. No, it's not.
Who was
He's an older guy. He was just in Dungeons and Dragons. He was the bad guy.
Was it Hugh?
Yes.
Whatever. So,
How could you look at that? I'm sure he would take that as a compliment, but
Because the trailer went in, bounced around a little bit, and came back out. I was like, all right, maybe.
even if it was good, Rob wouldn't go see it anyway. So, I mean,
Why?
because
What do you think? You think I have a grudge with Willy
no,
Wonka?
because you have 37 jobs. And it probably will come out during football season. Thank you, James. Solidarity, man.
At Ingalls, we know your closest companions are the ones who are always there for you.
There's a picture of Zuckerberg with Israel Lasagna and
I saw he's
Volkanovski.
jacked, bro.
No, if you're going to do that, go out and get a little sun first. He is in
He's
shape.
freaking ripped.
He is.
If I look like that and was that pasty way, I'd still never have a shirt on. I wish I was a billionaire because I could afford to get in shape.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If this were a Reese's TV ad, you'd be staring at a Reese's peanut butter cup. And sure, my voice is peanut buttery smooth, but still, you need to see the peanut butter cups, right? No? I can really just say Reese's and you'll go get some? Okay. Reese's. 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 Really working, actually. Reese's. Reese's.
Long day through. Feels so good to be with you and me going fishing in the dark. Lying on our backs. You put that song in my head, man. I can't believe you did. I can't believe you did this.
All right, I'm going to have to check it out during another break to make sure there's no twang in it, because I guarantee you. So you put money on it saying that there's no twang.
No, I'm not going to, because you're going to hear it and you're going to go, oh, it's country, it's got twang, even though there's no twang. You will hear it, much like you
It's-
accuse me
It's played on the commercial, right?
of making my
No, it's on the
decisions.
commercial, right?
It's on a commercial?
It's on the commercial. I'm
I
pretty
have
sure
no
that song's on the commercial.
I mean, I have no idea. I just know I've been listening to that song since I was a kid. Nitty gritty dirt band.
Oh, I thought this was a new song.
No.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Someone may have remade it.
I am a granny lover. Arn Anderson, ladies and gentlemen.
And I can't tell you, I've been in the range of 5 or 6 Ks. My beautiful grandmothers were broken over my back over the course of time, and that was the greatest thrill I ever had.
Same great show, new time.
The Rob Brown Show.
Now 9 to noon, only on the Fan. Upstate.
The Fan.
Upstate.
WYRD Greenville.
WORD Spartanburg.
WFBC HD3 Greenville. The official
QC in the first break.
10-4.
Upstate Fan. CBS Sports Radio. Live on the Fiancee.
Man, check this out.
For an official Rob Brown lockdown.
Represents being a breeder.
Yeah. Unfiltered sports talk. Manufactured locally for the Carolinas.
This is the Rob Brown Show.
Rob.
Yeah. Hour number 2 of the Rob Brown Show starts now, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Fan Upstate. Ever so glad to have you guys along for the ride. Robin the Great One, the Weenus and Pitt Show rolls on. You want to be a part of it, 844 a fan phone, 844 FANFONE. That's 844-326-3663. You can also text us this morning. The text line's open for you at 71307. 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, F-A-N, and we'll read them on the air. You can tweet or threads me at the Rob Brown Show. I will be honest with you. I have no idea if any of you have threaded me because I haven't checked it since I grabbed the username.
You haven't checked out the thread.
I haven't. I have noticed, and I don't know if this is correlation, causation, or coincidence, but I have noticed that my Twitter activity has gone down over the last week. Now, I don't know if it's because kids are home from school right now and people are spending less time online. I don't know if it's because that many people have moved over to Threads.
I haven't noticed mine go down.
Mine has.
Wonder why that is.
Again, we all run in our certain circles.
Wonder why that is.
But we'll see. We'll see. Either way, at the Rob Brown Show is the way to do that. You can also get at us on the stream. Facebook.com/TheFanUpstate, Twitter.com/TheFanUpstate, The Fan Upstate on YouTube. Search and subscribe, or do the same for the Rob Brown Show on Twitch. So we spent the better part of the last hour putting all 32 projected starting NFL quarterbacks into tiers. Here's how that broke down. And I want your thoughts. 71307. Start your text with FAN. Who did I rank too high or too low? Tier number 1, I called the best. It's got Patrick Mahomes in it. Tier number 2, I called the next. That's Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Aaron Rodgers. Tier 3, I've got the oh-so-close tier. That's Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts. Tier 4, I've got in the yard Derek Carr, Justin Herbert, Tua Tagovailoa, Trevor Lawrence, Russell Wilson, and Deshaun Watson. Tier 5, on the block, I've got Dak Prescott, Geno Smith, Jared Goff, Matt Stafford, Daniel Jones, Kyler Murray, Kirk Cousins, Jimmy Garoppolo, Mac Jones, Brock Purdy, and Kenny Pickett. Tier number 4, I've got last chance for you, Baker Mayfield, Desmond Ridder. And I want to sit here for just a minute on these two guys. This is it for them. This is it for them. And I think it might be a little early in the career to say that about Desmond Ridder because he's just getting his look. But Desmond Ridder in his time as QB1 after Marcus Mariota departed the Falcons last year went real bad. Went real bad. But the Falcons were bad, right? This year, Desmond Ridder's got an opportunity. Texter wrote in and said, quote, Rob, Desmond Ridder is going to prove a bunch of people wrong this year. He was great at Cincinnati, and he's more than capable of succeeding in a play-action offense. And I do think Atlanta's got to lean on the play-action this year. That's the point of spending the first-round draft pick on Bijan Robinson. With the lineup that they have of Robinson, Allgeier, and Patterson, they have got maybe, if Bijan Robinson is him, they have got maybe the best three-headed monster out of the backfield in the entire National Football League. Atlanta is going to ride the run game to boom or bust. And if you're doing that, You got to lean on the play action. You've got to keep defenses honest by going, yeah, we know it looks like we're going to hand it to Bijan every time, but sometimes we're going to pull it. Sometimes we're going to throw it. And that's where Desmond Ridder has to succeed. I agree with this texter. He is capable athletically of doing it, but I got to see him do it before I'm going to say, yeah, that's the guy. What I will say is if he can't do that, the reason I don't have him in that next tier up, that on the block tier, right? The on the block tier is guys that I think, if they don't get it done with their current team, could get picked up elsewhere, but likely they're going as either a placeholder, an experiment, or a backup, right? What if we took Kyler Murray and we put him in a different style of offense? Would he be able to thrive here? What if we took Dak Prescott and lifted the pressure of being the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys off of him and put him in a place where there's a little bit less pressure? Would that work? That's what that tier is for me. If Baker Mayfield does not get it done in Tampa Bay this year, then he's done. At least as a guy who's got an opportunity to earn the starting spot. Baker's going to roll out there with Mike Evans. He's going to roll out there with Godwin. He's going to roll out there with the best wide receiver core he's had anywhere. Now, I do feel bad for Baker, as I pointed out, because he's going with a new OC again. I think Baker's had a new OC every year of his career so far, and with a head coach who is a defensive coordinator. With all due respect, Todd Bowles is the definition of the Peter Principle. You know what the Peter Principle is? So the Peter Principle is, by default, people are always elevated to one position above their most proficient spot. Some people, and I've heard Lonzo say this, so I know he agrees. Some people, Lonzo, they're just the coordinator. That's the best they can be. In radio, some people are wonderful performers as producers. And then you pop a mic in front of them, they lose their mind.
I disagree.
Right. It's the Peter Principle. I experienced it when I was a bartender. When I was a bartender, there was another lady who was an exceptional bartender. When my bar ran on a split tip system, we all fought to be on her shift because this bartender would routinely bring in 2.5 times the amount of tips that anybody else at the bar did. She was good. She was fast. She was efficient. She knew her recipes. She had a wonderful personality. People just gave her money for existing. She was great. And so if you worked a shift with her, you were going to take home 60, 70% more tips than you would if you worked with anybody else at the bar. She was very good. And because she was an excellent bartender, my boss elevated her to assistant manager of the bar. And she sucked at that job, dude. She sucked at that job. She was bad at organizational skills. She didn't know how to build a schedule. She didn't know how to order drinks. The bar was frequently running out of the most popular beers. She was bad at that job. And then the boss came to her and said, hey, I'm going to demote you back to head bartender. And she was like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not taking less money and getting demoted. I'll go to another bar. So we had two choices. Leave the best bartender in Destin on as assistant manager and head bartender. Pay her for both jobs so he could keep a bartender who people came to our bar just to see her, or let her walk. Lose the best bartender in Destin and find somebody. That's the Peter Principle in action. I think Todd Bowles is that. He was a good defensive coordinator for Tampa. He got elevated to a head coaching job, and I just don't think he's that guy. And unfortunately for Baker Mayfield, I think Baker's going to suffer. Because I don't think Bowles is going to know how to run an offense. I think Tampa's going to suffer because of it. And I think because we do this as fans and analysts, they're going to hang it on Baker. Well, Tampa would have been fine if it wasn't for Baker Mayfield. I don't think it's on him, but we'll see. Right next to him is Desmond Ridder. Desmond Ridder did not show me, and maybe he does this year. That would move him up a tier. Desmond Ridder didn't show me anything in year one that made me circle his name and go, this dude's just waiting for the right situation and he's going to break out. If Desmond Ridder fails with Atlanta this year, he's done. Nobody's going to take a flyer. That's why I got him there. And then finally, ladies and gentlemen, I have the last tier. Now, this tier is interesting because it's not on the bottom of the totem pole. It's off to the side. It's a tier for guys who we don't have any way to rank them yet. I call it Rook to A1 because it's a chess
It's
thing.
a chess thing.
But
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
also predominantly rookies, you know?
Do you play chess?
No, because, and this may shock you, I'm dumb and chess is for smart people.
Okay, because I would bring in a chessboard and we could,
No.
we could do that.
No,
Like during a break.
no, I'm good.
Okay, all right.
I'm good. It's not that I don't love a good competition. It's that I'm dumb. And chess is not for people who are dumb. The only way I can win at chess is by just doing the dumbest things and hoping you don't know how to respond. It's see the old phrase? It's like playing chess with a pigeon. He's just going to knock the pieces over and poop on the board. But a metaphor.
I don't think you have to be smart to play chess. You just have to memorize
No.
strategies.
You don't have to be smart to play chess. You got to be smart to win chess. Anybody can play chess. I know how the pieces move.
I might be horrible at it.
Rook to A1 includes, obviously, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson. But there's two other names that I have on this list. The other names I have are Sam Howell at Washington, mainly because while we did see Sam Howell last year, it was very brief, and he's on a real bad team. I love Riverboat Ron. Ron Rivera seems like an awesome guy. All the stories I've heard from Zoe and the gang about meeting with Ron, he seems like a Class A dude. I love the guy. That being said, this has nothing to do with Ron Rivera. It has nothing to do with Sam Howell, and it has everything to do with the absolute dumpster fire inside of a slightly larger dumpster fire that is the ownership and upper management of the Washington Commanders. Guy, Dan Snyder, is hot trash, and it's impacted everybody under it. So I'm going to say that while Sam Howell was unimpressive in year one, I'm going to ask you to consider the situation he was placed in. The other name that I have in the Rook to A1
By the way,
class-
real quick, he can't look over his shoulder and know that Heineke is going to step in at any point because Heineke's gone.
Correct.
Any other time, I'm not joking. Heineke ends up being the starter almost everywhere he goes.
Yep.
And he's been the starter there before.
This is going to be a year that Sam Howell knows, like, you're the dude, right? Like, this is your team. Now, I will say this. I find this interesting. Right behind him, Jacoby Brissett, who has repeatedly proved he's good enough to be a number two. He's a guy that if things are going real bad for QB1, you can trust him to come in and be an excellent game manager. And behind him, Jake Fromm, the old Georgia QB who has not gotten a chance yet.
This is Rivera's last year. So
In Washington.
Yeah, in Washington
Yeah.
for sure. Because he's not going to win with those
No.
guys.
No, he's not going to win with that team. So we'll leave Sam Howell on that list as I just don't know if he's good enough. I'm going to leave him right there. And on that list, Jordan Love, new Green Bay Packer quarterback. I got no idea, right? I know he wasn't good enough to supplant Aaron Rodgers at a point in time when I'm sure Green Bay was already looking to move on before they did, but it's Aaron freaking Rodgers.
I was
my
going to say,
dude.
how many rookies, if you put them behind Aaron Rodgers, are they going to supplant him?
None, not as true rooks, right? None. So I think Love is on that list as well as a guy that he gets a prove it year. This is the category I had Trevor Lawrence in last year, right? Even though it was year 2 for TL16, I was like, no, we have not seen what this guy can be because he was under the biggest joke of a head coach in the history of the National Football League, Urban Meyer. And he's got some time to get that stank up off him, and he did that. And now TL16 skipped from rook to A1 all the way up above on the block to in the yard just based on his performance last year. I think Jordan Love could do the same thing, or he just bumps up from rook to A1 to last chance you. And I don't know yet. We just don't know. That's why he's in this undefinable category. All right, a couple of texts that have come in so far, and then we'll get away from this in the next segment. Texter said, completely agree on Ritter and Baker. This is their last chance. Lamar has to stay healthy. Yeah, Desmond Ritter is not. Here's the thing. Baker showed us enough in Cleveland. He showed us enough times, though. Damn, he's got it in him to be that good. Right? We saw Baker Mayfield at Cleveland. Hell, a couple of times in Carolina, we saw Baker do some stuff that we were like, maybe this guy can do it, which is why he got multiple chances.
Not to mention the first game with the Rams when he had like been there a day.
And lit it up.
Yeah.
Right? He has showed us that in the right situation, with the right staff around him, he can be that dude. That's why he gets another chance. Desmond Ritter has not done that. And on top of that, in the brief time he's gotten the opportunity, he hasn't, at least to me, shown me enough of the flash that I'd go, yeah, one more shot though, right? Like move him to it. Here's the thing. He's in a Falcons organization that appears to, on its surface right now, be the best it's been run since Dan Reeves was the head coach, right? So I don't think it's an awful spot for him to be in this year, but that also creates a situation where a lot of other teams are going to go, all right, you haven't showed any flash and sizzle. You haven't showed any steak. You also don't look like you're in a franchise that, you know, I look at Cleveland, I look at Washington, and I can forgive guys for having a bad year there because the franchise is so bad. Atlanta's not in that group right now. It doesn't appear. Arthur Blank is widely considered one of the best owners in the National Football League, and now Arthur Smith is rapidly rising up the NFL coach power rankings. They went and got him some support. They got a top 7 offensive line. They got the best 3-headed running back stable in the NFL. If Desmond can't do it here, nobody else is going to take a flyer on him before they go grab a rook somewhere and see if they can grow their own. That's why he's in this tier as opposed to one tier up of he's got one more shot if this doesn't work out. Texter said, Rob, Desmond Ritter will be benched by week 4. Heineke will take over and win the division. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now. The Falcons aren't winning the division this year, right? They're not there yet. Now, if they would have stumbled into a quarterback, they'd have been in the mix.
All right, time for breaking news. That is probably not that breaking news, but it is breaking news because it just broke.
That's how breaking news works.
It is. According to Adam Schefter, which means he was handed a memo by the NFL and the NFL Films have selected the New York Jets to serve as this year's team on Hard Knocks.
Who the hell else was it going to be?
All right, so now you see why I said that. It is breaking news, but we all knew it was going to be that, but now it's confirmed.
Yeah, who else was it going to be?
Who's breaking news brought to you by?
Our friends at BetQL. Be a better beat the books with our friends at BetQL. And don't forget to listen to Bet for the Cycle every Saturday noon to 4 on the BetQL Network, hosted by former Major League Baseball player Cody Decker and me, The Rob Brown Show. We'll come back to that in a minute because I do want to talk about it. You kidding me? You think I don't want to see Aaron Rodgers microdosing shrooms before practice? Hell yeah, I do.
Do they liquefy that? I don't know. I mean, I don't know that you know, but I mean,
don't know.
And I don't want to look up how they actually do that. Do they ingest them by frying them? Do they eat them raw? I'm curious.
No, I ingest my mushrooms by frying them. A nice deep fried portobello is a game changer. You lay that on top of some steak and potatoes.
I remember visiting Ohio, and my cousin was frying up mushrooms, and my kids were in their teens, and they act like they wanted some, and I had to ask my cousin, "Are those okay?" And he laughed his butt off and said, "Yes, they are." So, I mean, so I really don't know how they do that.
We'll come back to that because I do want to talk about that.
I bet the stream knows.
Somebody does. Look, here's the thing. We're getting text about Desmond Ridder. And I will tell you, reading the text, reading the stream, reading the tweets, half of y'all think Desmond Ridder is about to shock the system, and half of y'all think Desmond Ridder is riding the pine by week 4. It's 50%, man. It's 50%. I don't know the answer. You don't know the answer. What I do know is I haven't seen enough out of Desmond Ridder to place me in the definite group. I also know last year was a rebuilding year for Atlanta, despite the protests from Atlanta fans trying to convince me to the opposite, which I'm sorry, don't believe you. Didn't believe you then, don't believe you now. I just don't think there's enough to Desmond Ridder where if he gets canned in Atlanta and he gets benched, he gets another opportunity elsewhere. I just don't see it. But we'll find out. I will tell you this. If you go to Heineke, you most certainly aren't. Atlanta's on my list of teams. We'll do this later in the either in this week or next week. Atlanta's in a group of, I think I put together 4 teams that I absolutely considered shock division winners. Teams that have a chance to win the division and shock people, but it wouldn't be that shocking. But it's all going to come down to their run game, man. All going to come down to the run game. All right, we'll talk about that later on in the show as well. Texter said, let's see here. Lonzo is so salty about Clemson saying TL16 is about the coach. Please take away Kelsey from Mahomes and see how good he is. Oh, he would still be really good, but yes, he's an absolute cheat code. And I swear to you, that damn cat, dude. Why is that cat louder than everything else?
It's not.
Yes, it is.
It's not. It has treble to it. It has
Move-
treble to it.
Move the volume to one spot and leave it. And now play LA Knight and then the cat.
Yeah.
Now play the cat.
No.
Don't play
I
anything.
just want to point out bass in LA Knight.
Inconceivable.
A little more treble there. Sounds a little bit
Play the
louder.
cat. That is louder.
It is not. It is not. You know it's not. Look.
That is louder.
Look. You wanted to make your case and it didn't work.
No, I don't have to. That was louder.
Yana, I believe that my friend across the aisle is wrong.
Yana, the guy across from me, the youth across from me is lying. And you know it, Yana. All right. Don't like it. Texas said TL16 deserves to be in the yard. Yeah. I think I've got him in the, so I've got him. What did I put in? Let me pull my tier list back up. I put it away. I've got Trevor Lawrence. I do have Trevor Lawrence in the yard. Question is, does he jump from in the yard to oh so close this year?
It's a Clemson fan going, you're sliding him. And he's exactly where you said he was.
And by the way, now we're getting text from our dear listeners talking to us about exactly how to microdose. So cool. Good job, Lonzo.
Yeah.
When the boss comes
No,
in
no,
and
no,
checks
no,
the
no,
text
no,
line
no,
later and
no.
goes, wait a minute, why are Rob and Zoe getting advice on the proper way to partake in hallucinogenics?
All right. So I've
Awesome.
done this a couple of times. I also want to know if Bill Frady, who now is the 10 to noon on Word, will now talk about this.
I don't know. We'll see.
I just want my name mentioned on both stations at the same time. So there we go.
Texas said, Rob, real talk. Not another sports show is broken down NFL quarterbacks this well. This is great. Good facts. Love it. I don't know, man. Listen, I'm not the only one who's ranked quarterbacks. I'm not. But all I can give you is mine and see how you feel about
By
it.
the way, that crowd's a little loud. Why aren't you complaining about that?
It's not as loud as the cat. Texas said you can eat them raw. You can stew them in tea. I've made shroom omelets, or you can put them on pizza. They are traditionally dried out. Okay.
You know what? We need to take a break, but I'm appalled by all the Clemson haters out there. I play the Clemson growl and people get mad. I don't get that. That's the thing that plays in the stadium when they're trying to spell their name and they forget how to do it when they're cheering. It's the Clemson. Why do you hate Clemson so much?
CLEMSON.
No.
I set you up.
No, because you did it wrong. Because there's a pause.
CLMPZUN.
No, there's a pause at the end as they're going, oh, what comes next? Oh, I'm sorry. It's N. N comes next.
DB says, yes, the cat is louder. I know that.
Because it has treble and it absolutely.
Whatever the reason is, it's louder.
All right. So I'm going to find some more treble heavy clips to play.
No.
and
No.
so, to prove my
Nope.
point.
Nope.
I'm going to do that.
Nope.
I don't need to prove my point. You guys hate
Says,
Clemson.
Grinded powder form into pill capsules. And Texture says, sometimes before work, I'll microdose on a quarter gram or so. Tiny bit puts you in a good headspace. If you want to get trippy, you'll need at least 3.5 grams. So there you go. Just handed out free advice on the show, I guess, today.
I told you they knew.
Back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
QC.
All right, guys, got a live read. Stay right there. We'll be right back. All right, boys and girls, we're back. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for waiting on us. We're ever so glad to have you all.
All right, tell him I was right.
There's one line that
No,
has twang in it.
the entire
One
first chorus, I
line.
mean, the first verse and second verse. Nothing but twang all the way through.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at babbel.com. Just go to babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's babbel.com. BABBEL.com.
The Carolina Hurricanes just put out their theme night schedule, and January 11th is a Thursday, but it's Star Wars night. I might be taking January 12th off. Every hockey team does a Star Wars night, and I'm here for it.
Now, CBS Sports Radio.
Are you going as Qui-Gon Jinn or Obi-Wan?
We'll see how long the hair is at that point. Is it long enough I can get by?
There's a whole lot more to know about sound if you really want to go into the subject.
Your smart speaker. Just say play 97 The Fan upstate on your HD radio at WFBC HD3. There's just one more thing. And on your computer at The Fan.
Upstate.com.
Get in the game on the Rob Brown Show.
So the New York Jets will be featured on this season's HBO Hard Knocks. First realization I had is that means that at least an episode of Hard Knocks will likely be filmed on the campus in Wofford in Spartanburg, South Carolina, as the Jets and the Panthers will host a joint practice before preseason game. For which I asked the question, what did Lonzo and I do to be ridiculous and get on Hard Knocks this year? We'll see. Second thing is, obviously, this was the team they're going to pick. The saga of Aaron Rodgers continues. Now, Aaron Rodgers is, and this is going to come at no surprise, it's maybe the only thing that we can agree on when it comes to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is a polarizing figure, to say the least. I think everybody understands Aaron Rodgers is a wonderful quarterback. Off the field, Aaron Rodgers is a polarizing figure.
I don't consider him polarizing.
I do, and you're wrong.
Hey, excuse me. I'm trying to do a radio show over here. Could you quit being so loud?
Sorry. Aaron Rodgers is a polarizing figure. Aaron Rodgers is also a figure of great drama. You've got the drama of the Packers and the trade, the fans who feel like Aaron Rodgers stabbed them in the back, Aaron Rodgers potentially feeling like he was stabbed in the back. He's made that clear over the years. You've got obviously the hype around the New York Jets. I said last year, midway through the season, I think the Jets are good. They just got to find a quarterback because Zach Wilson and his mom's friends ain't it anymore. They've got to find a QB, and this team can take a step. Well, now they have. This is obviously the team that, in fact, when the NFL's list of potential teams came out, I told you this was going to be the team. There was no way it was going to be anybody else. I can't think of a team other than the Jets. I'm including all 32 in the league. I can't think of a team that would have been more likely as the team that picks up Hard Knocks.
Zach Wilson is trending right now, and when I click on it, nothing happens. So I'm
just like when you put him under center.
Exactly. So I'm thinking he's trending just because people are hoping to see Zach's mom and Zach's mom's friends on Hard Knocks.
It has got the opportunity to be wildly entertaining. Wildly entertaining. It's got the opportunity for Zach Wilson because as much as Zach Wilson has been, and I'll give him credit for this, the dude's been a team player, right? When A-Rod of the Football Persuasion showed up in the Big Apple, obviously the first question to Zach Wilson was, do you feel stabbed in the back by this team? They drafted you. You were QB1 last year. You got benched. You got moved on from already. Do you feel like you got stabbed in the back? And Zach was like, no, I didn't do good enough. I didn't play well enough And this guy's a future first ballot Hall of Famer. Of course I'm going to sit behind him. And it'll probably help. He's been a team player. And I'll give him credit for that.
Yeah, he's definitely realistic for saying all that kind of stuff, because the egos of quarterbacks would usually be like, man, I can't believe this team is doing this to me. I was not put in the position to succeed. Now look what they're doing for him. They're giving him everything he wants. If they were to give that to me, I could have done better.
He handled it like a pro. Now, in fairness, that's the only thing he's handled like a pro. And for the record, while we make the jokes and the jokes are fun, I don't care who Zach Wilson sleeps with.
See, I disagree. It's worth it. I disagree. There is something he handled really well.
His friends' moms. You know,
that was oh, I can bring it back. I thought you already hit the punchline, man.
You know, sometimes when things are going tough, when it feels like the world's got it out for you, when your job's just a little more than you want it to be, and when it feels like the world is coming down on you, sometimes you just need a little of that maternal love. That love only a mother's friends can give. That experience love. That love that looks at you as both a son and a lover. Coming this year on HBO's Hard Knocks, Zach and his mom's friends live this Thursday on HBO. For real though, straight up, this has got porn overtones. Let's be honest.
You know, I haven't played
really
it that
does.
much because the DA show stole it from us. They stole the exact music and the exact tone that you're using. The exact thing. Let's see. There's somebody who from that show has been on in the slot before. So I'm just saying that maybe Carlos heard the promo, was like, oh, that sounds good. Yeah, I hope you get the job, Carlos. But still, I mean, you know, they stole our bit. And so now when we play it, people will think we're copying them, but we did it first.
Let's be honest. Much like Zach's mom's friends, nobody does it better than us. Just ask Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson's life is 100% the plot of a pornography movie, right? 100% the plot. Hey, Zach, come on in. My friends are over. Hey, my friends, I'm Zach's mom, and this is my son, Zach. He's the quarterback of the local football team. Hi, Zach. I'm Deb, your mom's friend. How was practice? Hi, Miss Deb. It's nice to meet you. Practice was tough. You know, it's just things aren't going like I hoped they would down at camp. Oh, Zach, that's so sad. Why don't you sit down and tell me all about it? Well, you know, the coach was really on me today because our plays just aren't working and the other teams are just so good. And I'm trying my best, but I just can't keep up. Well, if you need help keeping up, I know something. By
the way, I think you're missing something that's a really big positive for Zach Wilson, and that's Aaron Rodgers is an older guy. And as an older guy, he dates older women. So if Zach is hanging around Aaron Rodgers, it's right in the date range.
The jokes are based on it sounding like Zach's doing pretty okay in
no
lady department.
Yeah, but so you're saying that there's a point where you go, that's enough? Is that what you're saying?
No.
You're saying Zach Wilson's like, okay, that's good?
I'm saying Zach ain't trying to date his mom's friends. Zach's trying to hang with his mom's friends.
Right. And now he can hang with the friends of of Aaron Rodgers' girlfriends, which is a little bit.
Oh, you're saying Aaron Rodgers is I thought you were saying like a mentor. You're saying
No.
like a wingman.
No.
Got it.
You hang around Aaron because your age range is right around the people that
That's
Aaron is
fair.
dating. So, Aaron is my friend, that type of thing.
Oh, Zach, sounds like practice was really tough. Why don't you come up to my bedroom and slip into your jersey and relax a little bit? I bet I can help with that.
See, I would play the music again, but Rob's version is just so much sexier.
Oh, man. Dear Zach, there's lots of crusty crabs in the sea, says the texter. Texter said, why do you know what Skinamax is, Rob? Because, texter, I was 13 in the late 90s. That's why. When you would walk to the TV and you get those diagonal static bars, but every now and then, if you put the antenna on the TV just right, and if you hit it in just the right spot, every now and then, you and your 13-year-old friends would see just the briefest glimpse of one half of a pretty lady's chest. Lonzo did not mean for me to take that clip the way I took that clip, but I had to push the mic aside for just a second. Anyway, when we come back here on the Rob Brown Show, last night's All-Star game was as sexy as Zach Wilson's mom's friends.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Did you enjoy it like I enjoyed? Was it as good for you as it was for me?
Yeah!
We'll find out next on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Oh, man.
Split second choices. You were going one
Gotta do
place
what
and
you gotta
decided
do.
to go somewhere
Respect it.
else. I mean,
Rockies player to win the All-Star MVP award. He was also the lone representative for the Rockies in his first All-Star game appearance. At the age of 32, the Colorado catcher put his name on an award won by the likes of Willie Mays, Joe Morgan, Frank, and Brooks Robinson, and both Ken Griffey's, as well as Mike Trout. Diaz says, quote, I honestly can't believe that my name is going to be next to some of those names. The All-Star game winner no longer decides home field advantage in the World Series. That goes to the team with the better regular season record. Fan Upstate is your home for Furman Paladin sports all year long. Download the Odyssey app, search the Fan Upstate, and listen anywhere on your phone. I'm Chuck Sanders with the Sports Flash on the Fan Upstate.
Growing a business brings pressure. It's not easy to maintain momentum and still keep employees engaged. Fortunately, there's Insperity. Their scalable HR solutions help me with hiring, training, HR administration, and compliance while giving my employees competitive benefit options. When my people are able to thrive, my business can adapt and prosper.
Be right back, guys. Hang on.
Nothing seems impossible.
Absolutely no risk. If you don't get paid, we don't get paid. Most businesses do qualify, even those with no decline in revenues or those that already got PPP. Discover how much you can claim. There's no cost or obligation. Call now, 888-316-1372. That's 888-316-1372. Get up to $26,000 per employee. Call 888-316-1372.
Hey, man, don't go in there.
316-1372.
Trust me.
I do, and I won't.
The boss was repelled. He went in and was like, not only was he repelled, but he said something to the person who did it. Told him he should hold his breath. He said he would breathe through his ears, which is funnier coming from him for some reason. I don't know why.
Follow the PvP Voices of Baseball on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcasts.
Imagine buying a pair of sneakers and getting a soothing, gentle foot massage like you'd get during a relaxing pedicure just by walking. You might think this sounds too good to be true, but we think it sounds like Skechers' new Massage Fit sneakers. Because Skechers, the comfort technology company, has designed a unique innovation that makes it feel like you're pampering your feet with a gentle massage in every step. The secret is Skechers' new patented wave technology on the sole that gently massages your feet while you're walking around. It feels amazing and is so gentle you can wear them all day just like your other favorite Skechers sneakers. And not only will you be getting the massage, you'll also be getting Skechers' other famous comfort features, like a special luxury insole that offers extra support for 24/7 comfort. Plus, they come in a variety of fashionable styles, including lace-up and slip-ons, and they're machine washable for easy care. Get a bonus massage in every step with Skechers' new Massage Fit. Find them for men and women at a Skechers store, Skechers.com.
Brody King just tweeted this. I just sent this to you from AEW. Here's a quick fight video.
I can't get over something else that you sent me that I'm not going to say because it's got to be trending. So I'm not going to talk about it.
It's a good move on your part.
That's FORHINS.com/JOY.
But look at the thing I just sent you, though.
I'm waiting for it to come through, unless it's the thing I'm talking about.
It's not.
And I haven't gotten anything from you yet.
That's weird. I know I sent it. Yeah, I think it's on the bottom. You may have to click on it to see it. Maybe the video didn't come through. Well, anyway. What's on now?
From the Ingles Market Studio,
Upstate, 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg.
from the free Odyssey app, CBS Sports Radio. Listen on the Odyssey app. Search the Fan Upstate.
The Rob Brown Show continues. It is the Fan Upstate, ladies and gentlemen. Great to have you here on the broadcast. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this because I asked the question on the stream yesterday, which is why you should hang out with us on the stream at facebook.com/thefanupstate, twitter.com/thefanupstate by searching and subscribing to the Fan Upstate on YouTube and the Rob Brown Show on Twitch. And by the way, if you are watching and enjoying the stream, do us a massive favor. I hate to do the old online song and dance, but smash that like and subscribe button, bro. Smash it. And share us with your best friend or your most hated enemy, depending on how you feel. I asked the question yesterday because we got into a bit of a discussion about the congressional hearings taking place regarding the LIV Tour and the PGA Tour merger. And in the discussion, or I should say at the conclusion of the discussion, I asked you guys the question, does this intrigue you at all? Does this intrigue you in the least? Like, do you care? Is there any concern about this at all? Because on one hand, it's felt to me like the LIV Tour PGA Tour merger has a small audience of people that care about it, but the people who do care about it are way into it, dude. Or like way into it. And I don't see how you wouldn't be. It's interesting, right? I said on the stream yesterday, the reason this story is so compelling to me, Aside from the ramifications it's going to have on one of the most truly global games that we pay attention to, right? Soccer, golf, and maybe to a lesser degree, hockey. Aside from the ramifications it's going to have on the sport, my other question is, or my other point is, it has geopolitical ramifications, right? I've told you guys many, many times that sports and politics exist in a Venn diagram. You've got one circle over here that is sports. You got one over here that is politics. And then, like it or not, as much as we try to divest the two, there's that little spot in the middle where they overlap. I drew a graph for the stream. That's why you got to come to the stream. You're getting visual aids, right? You get that little spot in the middle where they overlap.
And, now
spot,
he can write that thing off. That's what that was all about.
Yeah.
For taxes.
Yeah, that's how that works. When they overlap, it gets very, very interesting to me, especially when they overlap in a spot where the political split we're experiencing in this country is used. Because now it's not just in the world of politics, but it's in the world of politics. And you've got predominantly national politicians who are utilizing it for their own purposes of attention gathering. Like it impacts us. It's interesting. But I was curious as if you guys care. Anyway, in all of that, we found out some demands or maybe really strong requests that were made by the LIV Tour before they signed off on the agreement with the PGA Tour. And there were a few of them. We read yesterday. We now have some more that have come out. The PGA Tour had a couple of requests. One of them, that Greg Norman be fired as the LIV Tour chief executive before they would be willing to sign this deal. Will he, won't he? We don't know. We do know that Greg has not yet been canned by the LIV Tour and is still a very loud proponent of the tour. The LIV Tour requested that the PGA Tour force Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy to, quote, play in at least 10 annual events, end quote. They want to use Tiger and Rory as a platform. Of course they do. Why wouldn't they? Those are arguably the two biggest names on the sport on planet Earth.
Tigers play 10 events a year now?
No. And not only does he not play 10 events a year, I don't think he could play 10 events. He can't play 10 rounds a year at this point. So it's an interesting demand. This is the one that got me. Proposals were made to grant membership to Yasir Al-Rumayyan, who is the LIV Tour and Newcastle United chairman, is the governor of the Public Investment Fund in Saudi Arabia. They requested he be granted membership at Augusta National and the Royal and Ancient. PGA Tour does not hand those out. That's up to those two individual clubs. They wanted the PGA Tour to go to two of the two most prestigious golf organizations in the world and go, yeah, make this Saudi guy a full-fledged member. That's all very interesting. This whole thing is wild, man. This whole thing is wild. It's a very weird setup. The congressional hearing is very interesting to me because of that crossover I talked about. And because how do you think Rory would have reacted if the PGA Tour said, not only did we stab you in the back after you are our flag carrier, but also we're going to mandate you go play for them 10 times a year. Whoo. Drama. Back after this for the third, final, and best hour of the Rob Brown Show. It's next on the Fan Upstate. That dude just straight up Royal Rumbled the other guy into the water. All right, so
I don't know if that's a setup though, because my dude looks like he's wearing scuba gear or something. But, yeah.
No, he's in the ripped jeans. Ladies and gentlemen, time for a fight breakdown. Let me take the logo off since this is going to fill the screen. So we've got here, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a little scrum going on in what appears to be like a pier. So we got two guys getting after it. Now, there's not much to break down in the way of a fight. This is not much of a fight. This appears to be after dominance was established by the guy in the red shirt.
By the way, the red shirt with the white, that doesn't work. I mean, you've been on the beach. As far as outfits goes, would you wear that?
Anything goes on the beach. Like I'm not. It's probably the one place where I'm not super concerned. Now, I still match when I go to the beach, 100%. You won't catch me dead in a not
I'd
coordinated
be
outfit.
disappointed if it was
But
otherwise.
for most people, the beach is the beach. It's the one place that you don't need to be coordinated. So, guy in the red has got guy on the black on the ground. Guy in the black is in a hoodie and distressed denim jeans. So guy in the red has the upper hand here, and he's doing a good job controlling the fight, right? He's got guy on the ground. He's standing over him, so the center of gravity is above guy in the black. That means if guy in the black is going to move guy in the red, he's got to move the entire body weight. If you're leaning on a guy, you don't have to move the whole body weight, but if you've got to push up to get out from the guy, you're on the whole body weight. That is why guys in MMA try to either full mount you or get your back, right? Because they want to have center of gravity on you to make you have to go full exertion to get them off. So he's maintaining possession here, and he stays that way. Now, look at the hands, right? Guy's got feet established, so he can get up here, but if he gets up, he's going wherever guy in red drives him. He's got the two hands on both sides of the neck and shoulders. He can direct head and shoulders wherever he wants to go.
Also keep in mind, guy on the bottom has no shoes on,
Correct.
which means he has no traction.
Correct. Now, guy on the bottom does have that left hand hooked around the leg, which means if he's got the quad strength, he could squat that guy.
Or
But realistically
perfect
speaking,
position for a fireman's carry, actually.
100%. But that's a tough move to pull. You don't see that in MMA very often because, again, if guy in red knows what he's doing, he just rolls the balance of weight off of you, and you're not going to be able to course correct. Anyway, so he gets him, and now he's still got control. And at this point, he's got control of the upper body. And look at that right hand. Now he's got him by the trunks, right? Now he's got him by the pants. Now I can put you where I want you. And he spins him around. And Lonzo, I can only describe this as a Royal Rumble elimination.
Right. You got to get some momentum, so the spin will help with the eventual throw.
He spins him to build momentum, and look at where he gets him facing. He's now got his back, so when he pushes towards, he's using quads. He gets to push off all of his leg energy versus guy in the black who is now pointed and leaned towards the railing, which means all of his body weight, all of his momentum is going in that direction. Sends him to the rail. Now, good job from guy in black to try to turn the momentum and keep spinning. Problem is, red guy now has him in an offensive line pass blocking situation, right? He's got the base established. He's got the lean over the guy on the bottom. He's got everything going his direction, and he gets him to the rail. And now guy's in trouble for a couple of reasons. Number one, left arm of the shirt of the guy in red. Not only is he over the head, which means the guy can't bend forward at this point, but he's got the collar on the far side. He is in charge of the direction. And look at the feet positioning of both contenders here. Guy in the Crocs has a wide-based flat feet to drive off through the legs. Guy in the black, he's on his toes, leaning backwards. Lonzo will tell you, if you get a defensive lineman on his toes, you have won.
It's pancake
It's
time.
pancake time. And so what do we have? Over the railing, wholesale, over the top rope elimination, and guy disappears. Now, I mean, that's Royal Rumble elimination is what that is, right? Quality elimination. Now, here's the problem you bump into here. I don't know how deep that water is. And that guy goes over head first, yeah? Like he's going head first. If that water's not deep, that guy goes over the pier and that guy lands on some sand on the bottom head first and breaks his neck. Oh boy in red is going to jail for manslaughter.
But
Got to be careful.
it looked like he landed in the water. The other thing is you will notice the guy who threw him over, He took time to stand and glare a little bit before he walked away.
Of
You got to
course.
do that. You got to
You
do
have
that.
established it. What's that guy going to do? He's 4 feet below you in the water. What's he going to do? You don't move. I'm coming right back up, and now I'm going to fight you wet in jeans. Like, there's no coming back from that. You just got to hope that water's deep enough that old boy didn't go head first into the bottom, because you could have killed him. But that's how fighting works. The third, the final, the best, the money hour of the Rob Brown Show goes now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is the fan upstate. Howdy, y'all. Welcome in. It's great to be with you. I am Rob Brown. The handsome young devil across from me is, of course, the great one, Lonzo. Phone lines open for you at 844-FAN-PHONE, 844-FANFONE, 844-326-3663. Text to 71307-71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, and we will read them on the air. You can also tweet or threads me at The Rob Brown Show. You may only tweet Lonzo at Lonzo on Word, and you can get to everybody up in the hizzy at The Fan Upstate.
Hey, you think that breaking news that we got last hour showed up on threads too?
Don't worry, I'll check.
I'm curious if Schefter actually is on threads and put that over there too.
So I think you kind of have to be, right? Like, I think if nothing else, and this is what I did, I think you have to establish yourself there. Because whether or not you like it, there have been tens of millions of people that have moved over to threads.
Really? That
Yes.
many? There's that many?
Yes.
There is that. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
There are. Let's see if old Shefty baby is over there yet. He is. He is there, and he is verified on threads. And it is 48 minutes ago on the threads.
Okay. I was curious.
Yep.
I was curious if that would work.
I think you have to be. I think in this business, at the top tier, you have to be everywhere. I really do. I don't think you can afford not to be visible.
Well,
Welcome to the unfortunate reality of the career that we have chosen.
I am not at the top tier, so I don't have to worry about it. I will do it when I'm told I have to.
Yeah. A lot of people feel that way.
Which is how it was for Twitter for me, because I didn't need to, because I only use it for work. So if I have to for work, I will. I will come up with the most outrageous possible thing that I can.
Lonzo on Word.
Or maybe I'll put a Clemson in front of my name. Go incognito.
You should just go ahead and claim Clemson Boomhauer on threads.
I don't know how to spell.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get some stuff up. By the way, for those of you that were not watching the stream during the break, you should have been. We did one of my favorite fight downs so far of a dude who straight up Royal Rumble eliminated another cat off of a fishing pier. Gave him the old spin and heave over the top rope and sent the guy like 5 feet down into a body of water and then see, the problem is he made the old classic mistake, Alonzo. Rule number 1 of the Royal Rumble, when you eliminate a dude, what do you not do?
You don't stare, because someone will come behind you and eliminate
Yeah.
you. And two people come on either side of
Yeah.
him, but they were just apparently concerned about the person who went over. So.
That's a moment where if I am an innocent bystander, watch a dude throw another dude head first over a fishing pier into the water and then stand there and gloat. Yeah, it's going to be real tough for your boy not to run over, grab that dude by the back, throw him after him, right?
And suddenly that whole pier becomes
Just a full-out battle royal. Anyway, watch the stream. It gets ridiculous, and we have a wonderful time. Let's get to a couple of different stories up in here. We led the show in the first hour talking about quarterback rankings. I still want your thoughts. We got a few more I'll address later on in the program. But I'll give you my quarterback rankings one more time because it's my show, and when I do actually this much work in doing something, I'm going to use it a lot. Top tier, the best, Patrick Mahomes. He's by himself in that tier right now. The next tier is the next. These are all the guys that could, with a rank, with a good run, with the defeat of Patrick Mahomes, could jump up into that rank alongside Patrick Mahomes. They are Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Aaron Rodgers. The third tier I've got is the oh-so-close tier. This is the group of guys that could go either way, right? They got to move up into the next. They're not quite there with Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Aaron Rodgers, but they're close. And I got Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts in that category. Tier number 4, in the yard. These are guys that they're not in the house. They don't have a place to stay yet, but they're in the yard. They're ready to knock on the door. I got in that group Derek Carr, Justin Herbert, Tua Tagovailoa, Trevor Lawrence, Russell Wilson, and Deshaun Watson. The next tier, tier 5, I've got on the block. These ain't the guys. They're not on the yard. They're not ready to knock on the door, but they're making their way there. I've got there Dak Prescott, Geno Smith, Jared Goff, Matt Stafford, Daniel Jones, Kyler Murray, Kirk Cousins, Jimmy Garoppolo, Mac Jones, Brock Purdy, and Kenny Pickett. These are all guys that if it does not work out where they are now, will get another chance somewhere else, likely as a backup who's got to earn the role. The guys in the tier above them will get another chance as a starter elsewhere. Then, in the final group of quarterbacks that don't include rooks or first-year starters, I've got last chance for you. In that group, just 2 quarterbacks, Baker Mayfield, Desmond Ridder in Atlanta. And then finally, I've got the last tier, Rook to A1. This is a tier that is not below the other tiers. It is off to the side, and the guys in this tier are waiting to be assigned to one of the other tiers. In the Rook to A1, I've obviously got your rookies in Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, and Anthony Richardson. I've also got 2 quarterbacks that are not rooks getting their first nod, Sam Howell in Washington and Jordan Love in Green Bay. So there's my quarterback rankings tier by tier. I want to know the ones you think I got too high, the ones I got too low. Let's go to the NBA for just a minute. We told you about this rule last week, and now it is official. It is implemented. Ladies and gentlemen, the NBA's Board of Governors has approved a rule change that will make flopping a technical foul for the 23-24 season. That announcement came yesterday. It is the result of increasing frustrations from fans and teams toward players who go out of their way to sell contact, according to a press release from the Association.
You know, when I saw this tweeted out earlier, it had a picture of LeBron on it. I don't know why.
LeBron took so much crap in the Western Conference Finals against Golden State.
He did.
Because Steph hit him with a contact made at full extension, not through it, stiff arm. And LeBron fell across the floor like he had been taken out by a sniper.
Well, Steph used his chi. I mean, if you use that, you know, it's coming from within your essence.
Hit him with the old Kamehameha.
Well, I don't think he went that far because LeBron would have went through the wall if he did. But, you know, just a little bit.
So.
Or maybe he bent air. Maybe he was an airbender.
Let me tell you where partially this is coming from.
Maybe it was magic.
Maybe it was Memphis. Okay. This is coming from the NBA trying to find a sweet spot. The NBA, because of stuff like that, understands they have a problem with the older male demographic. And when I say older, I'm not talking about 60s, 70s plus. I'm talking about 30s plus. I'm talking about guys my age, right? Because while we did grow up in the Kobe Bryant era, even in the Kobe era, we had guys like Shaq, right? We had guys like Bruce Bowen. We had guys that would chest thump you. We had guys that if you went to the rack, you were getting stuck. You had to battle through contact. And even the guys in my demographic have started to jump on the NBA players who soft train.
What's your demographic?
Mid to late 30s.
Okay. All right. Just curious.
So if guys in the mid to late 30s demo, right? I had a conversation with one of my fraternity brothers the other day, Mark. He lives down in South Florida. He texted me because he was asking about Victor Wembanyama. Because the Spurs...
So is Brittany. See how that went.
Fair enough. The Spurs ran Victor Wembanyama out for 2 games in the Summer League. He made his debut. It was disappointing. He came into the second game, 27 points. What did he go? 27, 10, and 9, I think, in that game.
And then they shut him down.
And then they shut him down. He is done for the Summer League. And he texted me, and he's like, oh, this dude's soft. I was like, nah, you got to keep in mind, man. This kid's young, right? He's young, and he is far from his final form. He's got some time left to develop. Victor Wembanyama, as much as we've seen him on TV, as much as we've seen him in the expensive suits and chains and all that, Lonzo, he's 19 years old. Were you anywhere close at 19 years old to being what you are? Not today, Lonzo. Not today. To being who you were at 25.
No. Yeah, thank you for pointing out that I'm way past my prime. And you'd be right. So, but still, no, I wasn't.
For the record, me too. And I'm only 38. So, Victor Wembanyama is 19 years old. He is not anywhere. And I'm not even talking about his final form in terms of as a basketball player. I mean, physically. Victor Wembanyama is a thin dude. He is not the not got the muscle mass that he is eventually going to end up carrying.
If Wembanyama is not final form, what is Zion?
Let's just be kind and say not his final form either. Fingers crossed. We'll see. Anyway, they shut him down not because he's soft, but because they want to work on him. All right. We have now seen where your strengths and weaknesses are against NBA caliber dudes, but in your range.
Now it's time for you to eat and work out.
Yeah, 100%, right? Now we can sharpen up the edges, polish the rough parts, get you another 20, 25 pounds of muscle and body mass. Let's do that. Anyway, to circle back around to where I started with this. My buddy Mark was like, NBA players today are SAWFT soft. And that is the pervasive thought of new age fans. That players are soft. Right? So the NBA wants to get rid of that perspective. Flopping does not help anybody. There's nowhere. Now, as I've said before, and as I'll say again, I don't have a problem with a guy taking a charge. Not at all. In fact, taking a charge is a wonderful strategy. It's ball possession for nothing. And a foul against the dude who did it. It's a wonderful strategy. But there's a difference between taking a charge and just flopping to the ground, right? There just is. So the NBA, recognizing that guys in my demo are getting to the point where even they are like, yo, this is kind of weak, is going to try to get rid of that. And I got no problem. Now, this is a 1-year rule. This is in effect for 1 year. Now, in fairness, technically speaking, all rules are 1-year rules. They could change anything they want anytime they want. But they emphasize this as a 1-year rule. And of course it is. You got to work it out because it's going to somewhat be subjective, right? When I was playing high school ball, because, that's the same level. That's the same thing. When I was playing high school ball, I took charges all the time. I was take the charge guy, and we got 3 minutes left, and we got a foul. Rob, get in there, guy. Right?
So when you knew you were that guy, do you put your all into your foul because that's your job?
Yes.
Or do you try to make it not look obvious? Because then they may not call it.
No, because you need it to be a foul.
Yeah, okay.
And you just learn to walk the thin line between a foul and a flagrant one, and they keep the ball. Anyway, and when you're that guy, you're that guy. My junior year, we had a real good team. We were state finalist runners up that year. We had a real good team. Team we lost to had 4 Division I 5-star recruits on it. We were good. And when we made the playoffs, our coach, Mark Tiza, brought us all to center court of the gym. He cleared out the gym one day. It was only the team in there. He shut out all the lights except for the one that went down on center court. It was very dramatic. And he gathers a team up. And he goes player by player. And he says how he views everybody on this team. Because the whole premise was like, if we want to win this thing, we've all got it, blah, 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 blah. So he's like, all right, you over here, you're the verbal leader, right? You're the guy that when things get tough, we all look to you to lead the way. You're the example setter in your physicality, right? You're the one who controls the tempo of the game. We respond to your pace and your tempo. We need you to be a hustler. You're the rebound machine. You do the dirty work and get none of the glory. Nobody outside of this gym recognizes your hard work, but we do. You're our ace in the hole. You're the sixth man. You're the guy we send in there when everybody expects this team to take a step back. You come in and elevate the game. And then it gets to me. He's like, Rob Brown. You know what Rob Brown is? Rob Brown's the glue that holds this team together. He's Mr. Cohesion. He's Mr. Chemistry. He's the guy that every time there's a problem, he steps in to make sure everybody's happy and ready to move on. I was like, oh, so I'm a manager? Awesome, coach. Awesome.
Did you?
And for the rest of that season, my nickname was the glue. Legit.
Did you win the coaches award that year?
No, I didn't win any awards that year.
Coaches awards is usually for, the guy who thanks for staying on the team guy, unfortunately.
No,
the glue, if you will.
During that year, I've told this story before. During that year, before just about every game, my mom and dad would invite the whole team to come to our house, and we would do like team dinner or team lunch. And, mom and pops would like take us out on a boat ride as a team or whatever. So like, I got it. My family facilitated
so you were
hanging out.
You were the rich kid on the team.
Basically.
Okay. All right. I mean,
And again, not rich, just comparatively speaking, we had a boat.
Well, as far as that goes, I don't know. I've never been to Florida. Maybe everyone owns a boat.
I mean, it's awesome to own a boat.
If you live on the coast, do you almost everybody own a boat?
You either own a boat or you do your damnedest to own a boat. That's pretty much how it works. So I was the glue that held the team together. That sucked. I'm like, Coach, I really rather you would have said anything else.
No, you thought that. You said it though.
Anything. Of course I did. Of course I did. Anyway, all of that being said, back to the flopping thing, I guess. Nobody wants to be viewed as a flopper. It's objective. It's subjective.
I don't think they care if they're viewed as a flopper or not.
Okay, you're right. Let me take that
they're
back.
They're still making a lot of money.
Let me take that back. You are correct. The NBA doesn't want anybody to be viewed as a flopper. Players don't care. As I told Lonzo earlier, you put 6 figures on my paycheck, you can say and think whatever the hell you want to think about me. I'll wipe my tears on some hundos. No problem. These guys are exponentially more wealthy than that. But the NBA doesn't want anybody to be known as a flopper. They don't want the criticism of Bron for flopping. They don't want that because it does make the league look bad, right? This has been one of the reasons that I have pushed for soccer officials to hand out more yellow cards for flopping.
That's what I was going to ask you. Does soccer care? Because there's a lot more flopping in soccer than there is in NBA.
Soccer.
There are a lot more people out on the field, though, but still.
Soccer now, again, you got to keep in mind, just like in basketball, if you catch a foul or if I flop and I get the call, I don't care how you feel. I got the ball. My team is now back in possession of the offense, right? So there's a strategy to it. But it's a bad look on the sport when a guy is eating hardwood or eating grass when he didn't get touched. Makes the officials look bad. This is why this is one of those things that I absolutely and entirely think we should go to an immediate video replay for. There should be a guy or a couple of guys watching every soccer match and every basketball game. And every time a dude hits the hardwood, they stop the video, they watch it a couple times. And there should be a 3-person panel watching every NBA game and every soccer game that if they come to a consensus that was a flop, they buzz the ref automatically stops play and hands the ball back to the other team, no matter where we are on the pitch or what's happening, no matter where we are in the court or what's happening.
So you're wanting the game stopped, which slows the game down.
No, I want a foul called. I think it should be a foul.
Just make it a flopping fine and start fining them, and make it a fine that really starts to hurt them. First offense so much, second offense, and
NBA
then
players,
make it escalate.
Never going to go for that. Never going to go for that because it is subjective. Even if we go with a 3-guy panel and the concept is consensus, it's still a subjective consensus. The league the association, the Players Association is never going to let you levy fines or suspensions based on a subjective call, right? It's just never going to happen. Remember, this is the same NBA Players Association, and there's a good reason for them doing this, but it's the same NBA Players Association that doesn't want Ja Morant fined or suspended, right? Same association. You're never going to get that by them. So I don't know, man. I'm interested to see how this plays out. I have no idea what direction it's going to go in, but I do know that this is something Adam Silver has been pushing for. This is something Adam Silver wants, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay. It's very rare I say, yeah, I like this decision from Commissioner X, but I'm good here because I want the association's image to be good. And while it's never going to be what the old hats want it to be, I do want it to be what I want it to be. Let's take a break. And when we come back here in just a minute, got a few more things that I want to get to. We got Rashad Beard of the Panther Nation podcast joining us tomorrow. Let's talk a little Carolina Panther football next. We got that coming up for you. I do have a story about Zion Williamson as well. We might have time for that. We'll see. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate. All right, guys, got a live read right here. Y'all stay right there. We'll be right back.
sell any commission-based investment products.
Well, you must earn commissions on trades.
Nope, never at Fisher. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in our client's best interest. It's the highest standard of care for a financial advisor.
How do you know what's in their best interest?
We get to know our clients and then tailor a portfolio based on their goals and needs.
But you probably sneak in some hidden and layered fees.
All right, I had to go back and see who made this comment, but James had said something about LeBron falling over from an attack from Yamcha. I will say the Wolfang Fist is nothing to be. The Wolfang Fist back in the day, early on, was feared by everyone in the desert, which is why Yamcha was a desert bandit. And also keep in mind that Yamcha was the best baseball player in the Dragon Ball universe. You saw the episode where he was playing baseball. He was a professional baseball player. That's pretty cool. Krillin was a cop. Yamcha was a baseball player. Yes, I just checked my hair because I can.
Offsides with Mark Ryan.
3 to 7 on the
Upstate.
More than the scores. Real sports talk for
All right, a few more stories before we get up out of here for the day. Want to keep in mind, tomorrow is Thursday. You know what that means. At 9:40, Rashad Beard of the Panther Nation podcast will join us to talk a little Panther football. Then at 11:20, it's time for Fight Club with the great Lonzo. No shortage of topics to get to tomorrow. Lonzo gets his dream fight. That's going to be on there, I have no doubt. We got a lot of wrestling to catch up on, and I am going to convince Lonzo that he should be against this fight between Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou as well as I. This fight's a bad idea for everybody.
I can't wait for you to convince me.
I'm going to convince you tomorrow.
Because as we both know, it's real easy to convince me to change my mind.
I'm going to do it. I've already laid out the script. It's already ready. I am taking 2 minutes of your segment to prove to you that you should be against this fight as well.
It's our segment, Rob.
No, it's yours. You made the title. You made the soundbite. It's yours. All right. Let's get some stuff up in here on this segment before we get to Twitter trending topics and call it a day. I will start with this. 2 quick baseball stories. We didn't even talk about the All-Star game, which, yeah, I mean, listen, the game is great. The game was great. It was everything I wanted it to be. It had drama at the very end. The AL down 1, 2 outs. Craig Kimbrell on the bump. Couple of guys get on. The tie run at second, and who comes to the dish? Seattle's own Julio Rodriguez comes to the plate. There was a moment that now
Was he tired?
Walked.
Was he tired when he got up there?
I would have been. Ended up getting walked, and then Kimbrell was able to get the swinging missing K to close that thing out, and the NL is able to prevent the AL from getting to a double-digit win streak. The broadcast was good, too, and as a matter of fact, Keegan texted me, who does not watch baseball. Keegan texted me in like the 3rd inning, and he's like, all right, dude, you talked me into watching baseball. I'm sitting down. This better be good. To which I said, well, if I'm being real with you, bro, you've missed the good drama. The NL, as the visiting team, went out and Ronnie Acuna almost went yad on the very first pitch. He got home run robbed. Freddie Freeman almost went yad in the second, and then he got robbed at the fence. Back-to-back home run robberies, or what would have been close to home run robberies to start the game. But the second thing I loved, and again, this will never happen in the regular season, and I know that. It's just one of those things I really wish would. Not only did they mic up players last night, Lonzo, which I think is great, they mic'd up pitchers while they were on the hill, right? So they were talking to Nathan Eovaldi in the second inning, third inning, whenever he was out there. They mic'd up Nathan Eovaldi, and they were asking, what pitch are you about to throw at him? Why? Where are you placing it? What are you putting on it? You going changeup? You going splitter? You going fastball? Like, what's the pitch here and why? And he is putting the glove to the mouth so he doesn't tip off the batter, but he's explaining the pitch. You know, he's probably sitting fastball here because that's what I throw most of the time, but I'm going to go breaking ball down and away, see if I can get him to chase. And I'm going to put a little meat on it, right? It was really interesting. And wouldn't you know it, Mr. I don't watch baseball, Keegan, is still texting me about the game in the ninth inning. Still texting me about the game in the ninth because it was compelling. It was interesting. It was good. And he was all in for it. That's what I need. That's what the All-Star game should be. I need you to get a little tasty taste. I need it to be compelling enough that non-baseball fans are there for the beginning and then go, man, turns out I kind of like baseball. I'll be back in 4 days when the regular season starts back up. That's the goal, and I think they did a good job of it. Now, the pitch clock is up there. Why? Because the National Baseball League Players Association has officially asked Major League Baseball to reconsider usage of the pitch clock in the playoffs. They basically said what I have said, which is, hey, we don't want a massively consequential October game to be won or lost on a pitch clock violation.
I just realized the soundbite that I need, and it is the sound of a crying baby, because it would apply so well right now. Yeah, it's okay that you're doing it during the regular season, but when we get to playoffs, can we please have a couple more seconds, please? Just a couple more seconds. It's like, come on, Mom, let me stay up just one more half hour.
10 more minutes, Mom.
Come on, Mom. Come on, just a little bit longer.
Right in the middle of a game, Mom.
Come on.
I get the point. I get the premise, right? I get the point. I get the premise. I get the point and the premise that what you don't want is, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Yankee Stadium. We are in Game 7 of this ALDS series between the Yankees and the Astros. Aaron Judge at the plate. 2 strikes, 2 outs, runner on first, Yankees down 1. Oh, a pitch clock violation. That's strike 3. The game is up. Now, I get that. You don't want that in the playoffs. Of course you don't.
You do if it's a rule and someone didn't follow it. That's their fault. It's their fault.
I understand where
you've been following that rule the entire year, and all, including yourself, have praised the rule and what the pitch clock has done for the game. So if you change it into the playoffs, what you're saying was it didn't work. If you go back on it for the playoffs, you're saying it didn't work during the regular season. So all the praise and even the commercials that they're playing about the game being faster, that all goes out the window if you change it for the playoffs.
So I have said the pitch clock is good. It won me over. I was anti-pitch clock when they introduced it. But having worked games, and as somebody who watches a game or two a day, I think it's great. I have enjoyed it. It has been a benefit to the game more than a detriment. And as I predicted it would, the longer that this game has gone on, the longer that the pitch clock has been utilized, the more pitchers and batters are getting used to it, the fewer and fewer violations of said pitch clock we've seen. In fact, as somebody who watches a lot of baseball, dude, I honestly can't tell you the last pitch clock violation that I recall. I think there was one last night in the All-Star game, and that's the last one that I can recall.
You work with someone who used to be an MLB player, right? And Cody Decker. I'm curious about what he'll think about that this Saturday, because I'm sure you guys will talk about it.
We absolutely will.
Wait. On what show is that? What time
Back
is
for the
that?
Cycle, the nation's #1 baseball gambling show, which airs from noon to 4 every Saturday on the BetQL Network and fine Odyssey stations around the globe. Now, I will say this. Cody, much like myself, anti-pitch clock when it came into play, pro-pitch clock now that it's there. I asked him about it, like from a batter's perspective. How does it feel? He goes, well, if you're a batter who thrives on playing mind games with a pitcher, it kind of takes away from that a little bit. But that was never me. I was just a power hitter. He goes, it's not that hard on a 17-second clock to be in the box and looking at the pitcher by 8 seconds. It's really not that difficult to do. So he's come around on it. I can absolutely say the pitch clock is good. It has been beneficial. And I also don't want to see a playoff game end on a pitch clock violation, even if it is the rule and it works 99% of the time. That being said, I would also say to say that you don't want to see a playoff game in that way, but say you don't care if a regular season game ends that way is bad. How many divisions just in the last couple of years have we seen won by a half game or one game, right? One game or a half game means that if the outcome of any two of 162 games between two teams was different, the playoff field would have been different. That is why when Lonzo says there's 162 games, who cares about one individual game? I do. Because in a year in which, let's say the AL East or West could see it come down to the final game of the season, right? Let's say the Rays, who slowed down a little bit in the second half of the first half, end up winning 101 games. And the Orioles end up winning 99 games. That means if the outcome of any one Rays game flips from a dub to an L, or any one Orioles games flip from an L to a dub, we got a different world. We got a different playoff bracket, right? Somebody goes from being home field throughout the AL playoffs to a wild card throughout the AL playoffs. That changes everything. So, either we figure this thing out, or we just go, hey, man, like, I know you don't like it any more than we do, but that's been the rules for 162. It's also going to be the rules for the playoffs. I think that's the way to handle it. All right. We'll see if they change anything. I highly suspect, ladies and gentlemen, that they will not. They just won't. Hey, by the way, congratulations in order. DJ Uiagalelei got drafted, Lonzo.
I saw that.
To the LA Dodgers, the baseball team. DJ Uiagalelei was a two-sport star as a high school player. In fact, one of the Dodgers executives, after they drafted DJ Uiagalelei, said that had he gone into baseball after high school, he probably would have been a high-round draft pick at that point. That's how good he was. So if this whole football thing doesn't work out, he's got baseball to fall back on. All right. Zion Williamson says he knows he's got things to work on. I find this story interesting because how about Keegan having a massive influence on this segment? Keegan sent me a tweet yesterday that came from NBA Central and Rick Boucher. Rick said, and I quote, "Where are the floaters, up and under layups, his pull-up jumpers at the elbow? From what I've been told, he, Zion, has shown no interest in developing any of those tricks. Tricks that Blake Griffin learned along with a decent three-point shot when the injuries started to pile up for him and allow him to single-handedly drag the Pistons to a playoff berth." He said Zion basically wants to be a block dunk machine, a guy who dominates inside of 5 feet and isn't really worried about playing from the mid-range out. I don't know if this is true or not. I do know Rick's a guy that's highly touted in NBA circles.
I think you could have stopped at he isn't really worried about playing. I think you could have stopped right there.
Now, again, I'd like to think that Zion's gotten to the point where, listen, the dude's locked in for 5 years. His 5-year extension kicks in this season. He's on this roster for 5 years. I think he recognizes that if a contract he agreed to, by the way, he wants to try to segue that into a New York or an LA or an Chicago, you kind of got to play. Because forget whether the Lakers or the Bulls or the Knicks have the money to sign you. Do they want to? Right? You've got to succeed. You got to thrive for them to come hunt you down and give you a Supermax contract down the line.
He'll go to a couple more teams before people finally decide he's not worth it.
And we'll see. We'll see. But again,
because of his potential.
If he wants contracts to look like this super max extension does, he's got to actually perform. Well, Zion did a podcast this week. He was on, let's see, what was the name of the podcast? I'm trying to find it here. Gil's Arena was the podcast. He said, quote, "It's hard, man. I'm 20. Here, I love this sentence. I'm 20, 22, have all the money. I'm 20, 22. Those are not only different numbers, Lonzo, but they're not even next to each other. That's a whole other number.
So these
there.
are quotes. You don't know if he went, I'm 20. Wait. I mean, I'm 22. I mean, because when people ask some people their age, they forget.
By the way, he's 23.
Is he really?
So what I'm going to assume.
Maybe he said it's 2022 and he didn't realize
No,
it's
he said,
2023.
I'm 20, 22. What I'm going to assume is he was talking about himself from the perspective of when he came into the league. Now that I think about it, that's what this had to
let's say I'm 20, 22.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
all right.
He said, it's hard, man. I'm 20, 22, have all the money in the world. Well, it feels like all the money in the world. It's hard. I'm at that point now because of certain things. I'm putting back the wisdom around me. I don't want to say older because they got defensive, but I'm putting people around me with wisdom, put me on game, do certain things, and just go from there. Zion's a dude who averaged, when he played last year, 26 points and 7 boards a game. However, he played in 29 games. He missed the second half of the season due to a hamstring injury sustained on the second day of the new year. And he's sitting on the final year of his rookie contract. This year is a $193 million 5-year contract with the Pelicans that could be, if he reaches incentives, worth as much as $231 million from the Pelicans when it's all said and done. So you got this report coming out on one hand that says Zion doesn't want to do anything except be a block monster. And don't get me wrong, he's a block monster when he's on. He's an inside of 5-foot dominator when he's on, but you can't just do that in today's NBA. That's why Victor Wembanyama got drafted, because he can play the block. I showed Lonzo a clip yesterday. That dude dunked, and it looked like his feet were on the ground. But Victor Wembanyama in his final summer league game for the Spurs, Lonzo, also shot 50% from 3 and 50% from the floor. Any distance. That's what you're looking for. Zion, get it together, guy. Get it together. Get it together, man. We'll find out if this is legit or not. God, I hope it is. I really do. I'm so tired of this. I am putting Zion's failure up there with a blown pass interference call in the 2019 NFC Championship game and Urban Meyer as the worst things in recent memory in sports. Let's take a break. When we come back, Twitter trending topics and the end of the show. What's next? It is the Rob Brown Show. It's the Fan Upstate.
Sanders, here's the Sports Flash on the Fan Upstate. At the Baseball All-Star Game last night in Seattle, the National League snapped a 9-game losing skid with anywhere on your phone. I'm Chuck Sanders with the Sports Flash on the Fan Upstate.
I'm Taylor Bishotti with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Saints running back Alvin Kamara has pled no contest to a misdemeanor charge of breach of peace for an incident that took place in a Las Vegas nightclub last February. Kamara will have to complete community service and pay the victim's medical bills. He is still subject to potential league discipline. The NFL released a statement saying we're closely monitoring all developments in the matter, which remains under review.
So you beat somebody up, but it's only breach of peace? We're talking about Alvin Kamara.
Oh, well, because he took a plea deal. He probably got the charges lowered in return for a guilty plea. Question is, what do you do if you're the Saints? Do you suspend him for a game, 2 games, 4 games, knowing that you're going to be in a race?
Well, you need to worry more. I mean, if you're them about NFL discipline.
Yeah. Or do you do nothing and just say, we'll leave it up to the NFL? In which case, the NFL will bring the hammer down.
You have to do something to let the NFL know that you believe it's a serious thing. And then you got to hope that they don't add something on top of it. It's the thing that the NCAA teams try to do, which sometimes works, but
yeah.
You know.
Back to school is on, and Staples has great prices on everything you need for your best year yet. Save on notebooks, save on headphones and laptops, save on pens, markers, and all the essentials. And right now at Staples, save up to 60% on select notebooks, markers, and more. School on, save on at Staples, where school savings are always in session. And $7.29. Prices may vary in store. And
Josh has a question for you on the stream.
I am not Skrilla, unfortunately. I will be in Charleston. It is my future sister-in-law's baby shower.
Oh, yeah.
Funny enough, the fiance said, because the baby shower is 11 to 2. My show is noon to 4. She goes, without me asking, she's like, just come down for like the first 30 minutes of the shower and then you can disappear and go do your show. So I'm driving to Charleston for 30 minutes of a baby shower to then leave it to go work for 4 hours. And I was like, well, then why am I going?
Are you going to do it from the hotel or something? Or?
No, we're staying in their apartment. So while I'm finishing, I'll be doing the show in their apartment while they're at the shower.
Oh,
and
okay.
then for that hour, they're just going to hang out downstairs. So I was like, why am I going? And she said, I just want a weekend getaway with you in Charleston. I can't say no to that. You know, when the lady says, I just want to spend a weekend with you away from the house together, I can't say no to that. I love the Triumph, but I love her slightly more than that. Slightly.
Come on. You need to say more than that. I mean, you know. Come on. Pajamas.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
Off clean feel, so I can accessorize with studs and not with mosquitoes. I can wear my
Yes, you should always accessorize with studs.
I know that I'm covered with 8 hours of not sticky, fragrance-free protection. Get your pre-party protection on with Off Clean Feel. SC Johnson.
This afternoon, sunny with a high of 92.
Weather brought to you by Staples. Staples stores are a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business.
Oh, my back just popped like a machine gun. Oh.
Your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com.
Always streaming wherever you are on the Odyssey app. Make the fan upstate a favorite. Now, the Rob Brown Show presents Twitter Trending Topics.
It is time for Twitter Trending Topics, where I tell Rob what is trending in our world, and he will tell us why it is trending in our world. The first thing that's trending in our world is creamsicle.
I'm assuming it's because of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who have announced that they will be bringing back for 1 or 2 games this year the creamsicle orange jerseys of yesteryear. I know that a lot of y'all love the creamsicle orange jerseys. They are some of the ugliest jerseys in the history of the National Football League, my dudes.
It's so bad it's trending because they showed a picture of it.
They're
it's not good. Correct me if I'm wrong, which I don't believe I am. When they were, those uniforms with what they wore, they were really bad. Why do you want to go back to that?
People love them, bro. People
I don't get
love those. I don't either, but people love those uniforms, dude. Like every time they do an all-time jersey ranking, people love to put the creamsicles on there. And I see, all right, I don't get it.
You're going back to before the cannon, which is still one of the coolest things at any stadium. I mean, you're going back to all that.
Listen, the pewter red and black's a great look.
It is a good look.
It is such a bet. Now, here's what I would do. I would 100% go back to the Buccaneer logo, the old logo. I don't hire it with a knife in his mouth. That was a dope logo, but just update it to the new color scheme, and you got yourself a great look.
You do. But they're not doing that. They're going back to the creamsicle.
The pirate ship logo can go, but the pirate ship and firing the cannon, as much as I can't stand the Buccaneers, is a great concept.
Yeah, it's still, I would love to be on that when they're doing
that. I would love to have a team that has a pirate theme. I'd be all in, but that creamsicle's not good.
All right, the next thing is trending is Sami Zayn.
Oh, whoa. So I'm still in the process of watching through. No, I did finish Raw. They took the L last night, him, KO, and Seth to the Judgment Day. I don't know why he's trending though.
It's a birthday.
No, happy birthday, Sami Zayn. By the way, October 30th, Raw will be at Bon Secours Wellness Arena. I'll tell you what I do have an issue with. And I'm going to say this because I love everybody over there and they love me and they know I wouldn't change anything. But one of our buddies in the front office of the Swamp Rabbits, our buddy Jack, you've met Jack. The Rabbits are working on next year's promotional night schedule, right? Where they have theme nights or whatever. Jack and I have been pushing for a year and a half for them to do wrestling night, not WWE night, not wrestling night, or not AEW night, just wrestling night where fans can come celebrate wrestling. And the bits have as of today, it's not done yet, but passed on the idea saying that it did not perform well amongst their polling of Swamp Rabbit fans. Lonzo, if I can talk the bits into doing a full wholesale wrestling night, you're in, right?
Yeah. I'll go to that.
Yeah, I thought so.
Without a doubt. All right, the next thing that's trending, man, there's two really good ones, but I'll go with Undertaker.
That's the correct one to go with because
the other one's a bigger story, but okay.
Don't care. This one's the best. There's a video going around where the Undertaker and his wife, Michelle, are down at a beach somewhere, and they, filming on their own camera, there's a shark swimming around them. They're in shallow water, but there's a shark swimming around. The Undertaker takes a couple of steps towards the shark, gives him an Undertaker stare, and the shark swims away. The Undertaker gimmicked the shark into backing down.
It's a really big shark too. It really is.
Listen, I'm from Florida. I've grown up around sharks. If you ever go in the ocean, it doesn't matter where you go. If you go in the ocean or the Gulf of Mexico, there's a shark within 400 or 500 yards of you. They don't care. They're never going to bother you. But every now and then they swim up. I've been around sharks my whole life. This shark's big as hell, dude. This shark's big. The Undertaker walks towards the shark, gives him an Undertaker stare, and the shark leaves. The shark got Hell in a Cell. It was like, no, bro, I saw what you did to mankind. I'm out, dog. Like, Michelle's just like, it's right there. Taker's just standing in the water. The shark is facing Undertaker, and then just goes, nah, I'm good. That's it for the show, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed it half as much as we enjoyed doing it. We'll see you back here tomorrow to do it all over again, but better on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Later, brother. Skrilla, I will tell you, my guy, that I was told yesterday that there are some wrestling giveaways coming up specifically on our show when both that and AEW roll around. AEW's in August, mid-August. Raw is late October, and I've been told we will have giveaways when we get there. So,
by the way, just to confirm, I was also told that, so it's got to be true.
It's got to be true. Nobody can lie to Lonzo.
But I got to tell you, you don't want to go with me.
No, Lonzo just sits there.
He's
excited.
I don't just sit there. I do stand up when I was excited last time I got to be a part of the Fireflies because I never got to do that. It's just Rob's yelling so much. He doesn't realize that I'm still having a good time, but other people like, why is Lonzo watching? I'm watching the production. I'm watching everything. I'm amazed that they're able to do what they're able to do. And I have a blast when I go. And a lot of times I spend the time holding my granddaughter and making sure she doesn't get too upset by the pyro. She doesn't like the pyro.
It's very loud. All I can tell you is I cannot wait for the look in Lonzo's face when the visionary, the revolutionary comes and we all get to sing his song.
Yeah, don't say all of us because I will not be.
It's going to be be so good.
I hope he's got a thing and can't be there that night.
Can't wait. Him and the man. When the man comes around to Greenville and we all get to sing his song, it's gonna be
The man,
incredible.
you mean Cody
Becky
Rhodes?
Lynch.
You mean Cody Rhodes?
The man, Becky Lynch.
Cody Rhodes is the man.
Cody
and
Rhodes called her the man, bro.
Cody Rhodes
He
is the
calls her the
man,
man.
or Roman Reigns is the man.
No, that's the tribal chief. Acknowledge it.
Yeah, I just when I think of the man, I don't think of someone who's not even a champion and won't be anytime soon.
The man, Becky Lynch, is coming around
Can't wrestle.
to Greenville.
She
South
can't wrestle.
Carolina.
Half time she stammers when she's on the mic. It's not good. It's not.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to see what a hater looks like, just look on that side of the
So
screen.
you're not going to see a hater. You're going to see someone who tells it like it is and doesn't follow popular trends. Yeah. What about my DBZ shirt?
I think he wants to know where you got it.
It's kind of old. If you look at it close,
He said, is that Majin Buu or Vegeta?
it's Majin Vegeta. Yeah. Or Ronda Rousey. Actually, Vegeta doesn't lose as much as Rousey does. So yeah, it's probably just Vegeta.
Oh man. Thanks for watching, everybody. You're all spectacular people. Have a lovely rest of your day. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Goodbye.